I'll succumb to your peer pressure and crack a beer.
Oh, you can't resist the St. Pauli girl. Just look at her.
I know. That's great. It's been a long time since I've had one of these, Josh.
Yeah.
I want to say the last time I had one of these beers, I was shotgunning it in a parking lot with you somewhere.
Okay. Yep.
The Legion?
Yes, where we were drinking beer in the parking lot because they weren't serving.
Yeah, like a couple of fucking teenagers, but here we are, full drinking age men.
Hell yeah. And
sneaking beers in a parking lot.
Or in a house, I guess.
Oh, it's been a long time.
It has. All right, I better...
It smells good.
Doesn't it, though?
Oh, it tastes good.
I was like I'm back in the brother's basement 20 years ago, initially playing with Sublimate.
Where'd you get this?
Minnesota.
You had to go to Minnesota to get this?
Yeah, wife and I went to Airbnb with the in-laws, and we had to stop and grab libations, and I found a 12-pack of St. Pauli Girl. I said, oh, yeah.
Man, do they still sell it here in Iowa?
I think in some liquor stores they do. I don't know. I haven't actively looked for it for a long time. I just happened to be up in Albert Lee, and here we go, St. Pauli Girl.
Oh, that's a damn fine beer.
Isn't it, though? I think this is my new go-to now. If I could ever get in any bar.
All right, partner, why don't you count us in?
Oh, shit, we were cold opening. Well, give me just a second, because notes need taking. Taking notes.
Up in smoke.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Chadwick Von Tippitt and Joshua 40 the hard way Johnson.
That is correct. And for this installment, you're going to be Chadwick Give Me Beard Pollution.
That's right.
And I don't know what the hell clever nickname you can give me that could possibly relate to what we're going to talk about at hand.
I don't know. We all die young.
Joshua, we all die young, ideally. Johnson. Okay, today we're going to be discussing the movie Rockstar. And Chadwick, since this was actually your idea, why don't you give a little, introduction to how this is going to go?
I'm going to freeball it, but like I usually do. I mean, I took some notes, and I kind of have a direction. I'm not totally clueless, but I want to say, and I might be mistaken, didn't I introduce you to this movie?
No, I think we both had a mutual appreciation for it, though, like at the same time. Or maybe I did watch it for the first time with you. I don't know. That was ages ago.
So, yeah. So I first heard about this. I was still in high school.
Right. And you absolutely would have been.
So, and I know I met you on my 18th birthday.
That's correct.
So that's kind of putting us where I don't know. When did this movie come out exactly?
I want to say the movie came out in 2001, and that's because I had read up about it and the making of it prior to it being released, and it was a big deal because of the subject matter.
So
that it's based on.
Okay, so 2001 it was released.
Hey, all right.
Got one right.
Score one for the good guys.
So I heard about it in a guitar magazine.
Oh, okay.
Because Zach Wilde was talking about it, because he's in it.
Yes, he is.
So, I was like, Zach Wilde's in a movie, huh? Well, I should check that out.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm a pretty big Zach Wilde fan, or at least I was.
You are his redheaded, illegitimate child, Chad.
Probably.
You got the beard to prove it, man.
I got the man root to prove it, too. Anywho.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So I read about it in this guitar magazine article, and then I was like, I gotta check this out, and then I found it, bought it, and it's a good movie too. Like, it's not just I didn't buy it. I bought it because I wanted to see Zach Wilde act,
right?
or what his part in the actual film was.
That would be a more accurate description.
Was it like a 20-second cameo or what? But it turned out it's a good movie too.
Yeah, oddly enough, yes. It's a very Hollywood movie, and that is what initially pissed a lot of people off about it. I know Nikki Sixx, for his part, he allowed the use of the Crew song Wild Side, and then went on this massive tirade after he saw the movie but the only thing I really remember from it was, if I'd seen this movie before, I wouldn't have allowed them to use the song, and this harkened me back to a period of time where all I wanted to scream was, die, Warrant, die.
Yeah, so the director of the movie,
Okay.
Stephen Herrick,
Huh.
he directed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Get the fuck... no shit.
Yeah. Yep.
That makes so much sense.
And Mr. Holland's Opus.
I've never seen that.
That's a really good movie also.
Richard Dreyfuss, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Put it on the list.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great movie. I think it won like real awards and things.
Real awards like Oscars and Golden Globes, not Razzles.
Yeah, not Razzles and whatever porn awards they hand out.
The AV and the Adult Video News. The only that I watched a clip of, I gotta talk about digressing, but I remember seeing I was watching Howard Stern's show, and he did a story, of course, about the AV and the Adult Video News Awards, and there was Lexington Steele, this black porn superstar who is evidently baby arm hung, and he's given this speech about how proud he is to get this award and how he thanks God, and I think he may have even thanked his mother or something. And Howard Stern, the king of filth, is talking about, yeah, I'm sure God's real proud of you right now. And, yes, mention your mom. I'm sure she's just great with this. And speaking of king of filth, did you hear your Larry Flint died?
I did hear that.
Yeah, fucking saw that pop up on my news first thing. I think it was Thursday morning, and the worst part is I chuckled, not because the guy died, but because all I could picture was Woody Harrelson yelling, "The pervert is back!"
Yeah, that's the only way I ever envisioned the man, is Woody Harrelson's portrayal.
God, the pervert is back. I just thought, well, the pervert is dead. But yeah, Larry Flint died, and that's where you talk about people making heroes out of the wrong people.
Oh, that's for sure. That guy was fucking slime.
The evangelicals, though, made him a hero for the First Amendment. We shouldn't be using the word Larry Flint and hero in the same sentence, unless it's immediately preceded with is not a. But no, evangelicals absolutely lionized the guy. And that's probably why I chuckled when CNN is reporting that Larry Flint, publisher of Hustler, Barely Legal, and Beaver Hunt, died at 78.
Club magazine.
Oh, did he do Club?
I don't know.
And why? And what's sadder, that I didn't know he did Club magazine, or that I know what Club magazine is?
Hey, we were 14, 15-year-old teenage boys once.
Before the internet. Oh,
Yeah.
What a period of time.
We're dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Yeah. You ever read a Wii magazine? OUI?
Ooh la la.
Exact. Ooh la la. But no, Wii magazine, a 70s porno mag. I've actually seen these things.
Yeah, so that's a perfect segue into this movie, because the beginning of this movie,
brilliant! Yes,
it zooms in on a porn theater marquee
that they're
because
rehearsing in the basement.
They're rehearsing in the basement of a porn theater.
Yep. What was the showing that week? All That Jizz.
Yeah, something like that. All that jizz.
But it starts off with them.
So just to back up a little bit, because that was a too perfect segue.
That was.
So this movie is based on the story of how Tim Ripper Owens got the gig for
Judas Priest. Yep, he was a singer in a tribute band called British Steel, and somebody videotaped one of his performances and sent it to England. Tipton and Downing and Ian Hill got a hold of it, and they flew him in there thinking this has got to be a joke, but let's see if you can do this. And he sang the first line of Victim of Changes, and they stopped immediately and said, you got the gig if you want it.
Yeah.
That was how Ripper got his gig.
So back to this flick. So it begins at a porn theater in the basement.
In the basement of a porn theater. Yes.
And they're rehearsing. They're a cover band.
Yep, and
strictly cover songs.
Well, they're not a cover band, they're a tribute band.
Tribute band. The best band in the world, Steel Dragon.
Which we're going to get to all of that in a bit. But yeah, they're rehearsing in this basement. I love this scene just because I guess if there's a musical geekdom to me at all, I was just looking at their basement, their rehearsal space, and I just got got chills, because it's like, this is what a rehearsal space looked like in the 80s. And I say that because as a little kid, I went to some of my dad's band practices, and that's what they looked like. You had these just piles of obscenely expensive equipment that for some reason they got a hold of. There was always like a light show thing that was ready to be set up. Just all of this looked like what those rehearsal places looked like in the 80s. Bands no one's ever heard of, bands no one ever will hear of, but they all put all this money into.
So fun fact for you, about that.
Sure.
About the continuity of this movie.
All right.
Is they got the input of the actual musicians that are in these bands.
Yes, and we're going to get to that shortly.
So in the tribute band, I think all but 2 people are real band members. So,
Yep.
so you got, Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch. You can technically call him a musician, I suppose.
He was a performer. And he was a good sport about that, too, as we'll get to towards the end of this.
So, yeah, and so there was a guy, and I can't remember who it was, that
I can tell you.
who recorded the actual vocals for his part.
Joel Lynn Turner and Mike Mijevic from Steelheart, two different singers.
Okay, well, so they mixed his actual voice with those guys.
What? I didn't know that.
On a lot of like in the film.
Oh, in the film. Oh, okay. All right. You're right.
Maybe not on the soundtrack, which you've been listening to.
Yeah, yes, I have.
But in the movie, when you're watching the movie, they blend his actual voice, and it's not too terrible.
No, but you could tell.
You can tell
which of these is the metal guy and which one isn't.
Yeah, when it's like really high parts, that's obviously
Mike Mijevic from Steelheart.
Right.
Which, for anybody listening to this who doesn't know who in the hell is Steelheart, nobody should know who Steelheart is, or if I'm even saying the guy's last name correctly. But they did a song, I want to say in 1990, like one of the ultimate power ballads called I'll Never Let You Go. And you're probably, even if you're listening to this, going, what the hell song is that? If you ever heard the song, it's that one with that obscenely high, let you go! Everybody knows the goddamn song. It's horrible, but somehow everybody likes it. But anyway, that was that guy that was singing the real high parts. And then Joel Lynn Turner, I guess the frame reference for him is he sang for Rainbow at one point. But he had sort of the lower register, more powerful vocals.
Right, and that's probably on the soundtrack with the
the
actual versions of the songs and not like the movie cut versions of it.
Yep, that's exactly what's on there. Like Stand Up and Shout is both of them.
Yeah, so it's Marky Mark on the vocals,
Blas Elias from Slaughter on drums, and Nick Catanese on guitar.
Right,
and who's Nick Catanese?
He's the second guitar player for BLS who's been ousted from the band because he likes child porn.
Because he's a pedophile, yes.
Yeah. So, way to crash and burn on that one.
Yep.
And then the other guitar player is that Timothy Olyphant guy. He was in Deadwood. He was like the lead in Deadwood.
All right, so
he's just, an actor. Just a regular actor.
Yep, just like Kurt Cuddy is later in the movie.
Just an actor.
Who always plays an asshole in every movie I've ever seen him in.
Right.
Whoever that actor is.
And the bass player in the tribute band was...
Yeah, who was that?
Fuck.
Like an actor or a band?
I think he was an actual... Who was it? Fuck, what was he in?
I didn't recognize that guy at all, but no, Blas Elias from Slaughter, or Elias, how the hell you say his last name? Yeah, one of the premier stick twirlers. And whether I'm ashamed of this or not, I've seen Slaughter live, and he is a showman. He's a damn good drummer.
All I remember from Slaughter is they had a song on the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey soundtrack.
See, and this is where I'm definitely 5 years older than you in that I can remember Slaughter.
Well, I mean, I know...
and a lot of their songs.
I know Slaughter. I
right.
I don't care.
Well, no, and they aren't a band that you really should care about. No offense to them, but hell, I don't even care about Slaughter. But at the time, they were big amongst us rock people.
God damn it. I cannot remember if that guy was in a band or not. Because I know the other, in Steel Dragon, the actual band, it's Jeff Pilson.
Yep.
Shit.
But all right, so they're rehearsing in this basement, and
they're getting ready for their big show.
And the song they're playing is...
this it takes place in Pittsburgh.
Yep, in Pittsburgh, right.
It's supposed to be Pittsburgh.
Yep. But yeah, fucking the song they're playing is Long Live Rock and Roll, which is a Rainbow song that Ronnie James Dio sang on. Which, yeah, if I've been listening to anything new or different this week, for whatever reason, the last 2 weeks I've been engulfed in this Ronnie James Dio thing to where I think... I want to see that artificial intelligence bot that wrote the AC/DC song or the Nickelback song and all that. I want to see that guy would ever do a Ronnie James Dio song. Because I think lyrically it could be about the easiest one you could ever write. Say a prayer for the night, greet the misty morning dawn. I mean, just, it is so brilliant. I just couldn't help but crack up at it and be in awe of it all at the same time. But anyway, so they're playing the song Long Live Rock and Roll. And this is where you get to see just how obsessive...
Wait, It's the Verve pipe singer.
Huh?
Plays the bass player in Blood Pollution.
Richard Ashcroft?
No, the Vander something guy. Brian Vander Ark.
Oh. Okay.
Is that not the singer?
I did not see that coming. No,
Yeah.
I thought Richard Ashcroft was the singer for the Verve Piper. Maybe that's just the Verve. The Verve.
Yeah.
British nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Sorry to walk all over you in that one, but
No, you can have it. You can have it.
I don't even know what you're saying.
I don't either.
Shit.
But we were talking about the movie here. And
Yeah.
like the first scene where you start to see Chris Cole, Marky Mark's character, his obsessive attention to detail, because the guitar player plays a ping and not a squeal.
Right. He doesn't hit those Zach Wild squeals.
Yeah, the pinch and this is where I immediately like Mark Wahlberg in the movie, because he had to have been knocking on 30's door at that point, and he still is almost like this teenager, and he's so good at it. No, that is not a ping, it's a squeal. Listen to the tape. And you just like him. He's so likable in that part, even as he's pissing his bandmates off. Sounds just like the tape, man.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. I've played in some bands like that.
Yeah, and with me.
Yeah, and other people. But,
Well, for Christ's sakes, you remember when we were going to cover Fuck Your Enemy, that Superjoint song?
oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, and I was obsessed with you hitting like this one note that you weren't hitting. I don't know how else to put it, but you were like, I read the tab for it. This is how it goes. I'm like, no, there's a da-na in there. You don't hear that? What wasn't in the tab? Chad, it's in there. Honest, it is. And this would be the crux of every argument you and I have ever had musically.
Yeah.
What's proper and what does Josh hear that I'm not hearing?
That probably would have helped if I would have listened to the song while I learned it. I didn't.
Well, that's the problem, is I've only ever played by ear. I couldn't read a note sheet to save my ass, but I could hear Paranoid. All right, so anyway, back to the movie, right? I don't know, where do we want to go from there? So they're rehearsing, Marky Mark's obsessively attuned to every detail of every Steel Dragon song.
I think that's the main takeaway, is that he knows the band forward and back. Like, he's a super fan. He knows everything about them, everything about their music, everything about
their personal lives,
how they look, how what they wore on what album, and how it's supposed to look. And that comes in a little later, because so one, they're rehearsing for their own gig.
Yep.
Which is
at a steel mill.
Which is at a steel mill.
Hell yeah.
Because they're in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And two, they're getting ready to go see the band play.
Yep. So they've got to dress up like.
So they dress up like their favorite fucking characters.
Yeah, but you would not see that. Well, no, you do see that at Kiss concerts.
Yeah, you see. I suppose you'll see that at Kiss concerts in like Lord of the Ring movies.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you ever been to a midnight showing of Rocky Horror?
No.
That's something you gotta go to just to watch. Fuck the movie, just watch the crowd. Oh, it's a thing of brilliance. And then if it's your first time seeing it, they call you a Rocky Horror virgin. They make you stand on the stage before the movie plays, grab your crotch, and recite some oath to Rocky Horror.
Huh, all right.
I've done this, and I don't know what that says about me, but...
I guess now it's my turn.
Yes, it is.
Because I like that movie.
You have to, but...
I mean, I don't have to, but I like that movie.
Okay, fair enough. It's surprising if one doesn't. You got to be pretty uptight.
So they go see their favorite band play.
Steel Dragon.
And so the director of this movie said that heavy metal parking lot was the motivation for that particular scene of everybody like outside.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah, so they're laying flyers on all these cars.
Yep, which is what you did in the 80s.
Right. So you'll see their tribute band play like the following week or whatever.
Yep.
And then there's a rival cover band,
Black Babylon.
tribute band.
And then they get into, and that fight they get into was the funniest fight.
They get into a fist fight because
were fists even thrown? Because it looked like a lot of shoving and poking and prodding,
grabbing and wrestling.
Which Marky Mark from Boston, I figured he'd at least thrown a couple of good shots in there,
right? But It was over the authenticity of his jacket.
Yes, because does anybody remember Bobby Beers having red lapels?
Yeah, ever wearing red lapels.
And that's why this movie is such a comedy. And I don't even know if it's intentionally supposed to be as funny as it is. But no, but even before that, though, you get to the Steel Dragon concert, where they go in there and somehow Marky Mark winds up in the front row. And as Bobby Beers is giving a stage rap, Mark is repeating it to him before he finishes it because he's watched him so many times.
Right.
And then somehow magically he's heard over the PA when Bobby does his initial stand up and shout, and and you can hear Marky Mark playing his day over him in the crowd.
Right. Of course. That happens all the time.
Does that even scientifically make sense?
I suppose. It's a movie.
But they got everything else so right with the authenticity, and yet this little detail of just this person in the crowd being able to sing over a however many 1,000-watt PA. And twice in the movie this happens.
I think the main takeaway is it's the guy on the stage could hear him, obviously hear him.
Right. But the takeaway I have is that's not possible.
Well, not over the PA, but I bet you could hear someone. If you're in the front row and you're shouting as loud as you can, he can hear you.
I'm trying to think of how you're right.
I am, trust me.
You know what? Sure. All right. So Bobby Beers hears.
I'm agreeing with you that I don't think you could hear him over the PA. But I think that you could hear somebody.
Oh, in a crowd? Yeah. That I'm not disputing.
So I think that's what they're trying to convey, is that he heard him match his note, or try to.
And did he start singing like a split second before Bobby's mouth hit the microphone? No, Bobby heard him after he stopped singing.
Because he held the note longer.
You mind blower. All right, that just blows my whole not possible theory right out of the water. Cool. We can go back to enjoying this then. All right, so.
Okay. Yes.
So then, yeah, the parking lot fight, which is just the greatest fucking thing ever up to this point. And then. What happens after? Oh, right. Glenn Guglia, the cop brother, wakes him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Glenn Guglia from The Wedding Singer. I don't know the fucking guy's name. I don't even know his name in Rockstar. I just know he's Glenn Guglia.
I don't know. It was like Joe or something. His brother.
I think it looks like
Joe.
I think it looks like a Joe. And then they get into an argument at the breakfast table, and then Marky Mark goes to his job at the Office Max or whatever the hell it is.
It's like a photocopy repairman.
Yep, wearing the khakis and the button-up shirt and the tie.
God, the director said that look was based on something too, and I can't remember what he had said.
I just remember the part where he's fixing the copy machine, and the horrified businessman looks at him and says, "Are you wearing mascara? I'm in a band."
Yeah.
Oh.
I always thought, I don't know why, but I always felt that one scene was just out of place.
I thought that was perfectly in place.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. It's like, yeah, why couldn't... They could have left that out.
I don't think so.
And it wouldn't have had any impact on the movie.
I think on the movie as a whole, no, you're correct about that from a cinematic perspective, but I think it sums up so many things. Number one, the 80s. Guys in bands wearing makeup.
Yeah.
And you could only get away with wearing makeup if you were in a band. Otherwise, what you fucking, you queer or whatever, and then you get beat up. But if you say, I'm in a band.
Got the fag makeup on me.
Yeah.
Detroit Rock City.
Yes, I remember. But yeah, that whole scene, I thought that was so necessary. And you wouldn't believe, just on a side note, how much shit you can get away with just by saying I'm in a band.
I'm in a band. Don't worry about it. I'm in a band.
I mean, even now, hey, why do you have long hair? If one of Annie's friends asked me that, my daughter, why do you have long hair? Oh, I'm in a band. Oh, okay. And it's just like accepted. It's fine. Why are you wearing bell bottoms? I'm in a band. Oh, okay. Well, he must be in a band. I'm sure this is okay. That little, I'm in a band, that gets you by with so much shit.
Yeah, like I said, I just, for the sake of the story, I didn't give a shit he was a photocopy repairman.
I thought it worked, though, because it showed...
It was so short of a scene, too, where you just kind of forget it.
But it normalizes him, in a way.
I suppose.
That's the whole point of it, is like, you see this guy at the beginning of the movie, he's in the porno basement, and then he's all decked out in leather, but then, wait a minute, this guy has a day job, and it's a straight job? That's why I thought, yeah, that needed to be in there because it showed, wait a minute, he's just like this normal young man who works.
But he has long hair, and I don't know. That just seems weird that they would allow him to continue to have long hair.
Well, he pulled it back.
True.
He pulled it back. Believe me, that's been a prerequisite for how many jobs we've ever had. Yeah, you can keep your hair, but keep it pulled back.
I cut my hair once.
I know you did. Boy, you were pissed about that.
So pissed. So pissed off that I never cut my hair again.
No.
Until I chose to.
Right. But yeah, that was the whole reason why they needed that office scene in there. Because, like, wait a minute, this guy does have a normal life, so, all right.
Speaking of normalcy, then he's like, shows him in the church choir.
See, that's the scene I thought I could have done without. That's the one that seemed unnecessary to me. Just because it was so...
That's why he can sing so well.
Fine.
Church boy.
Okay, fine within that, yes, he's a choir boy, and that... I don't know why, but... In a movie that was just riddled with Velveeta, that was just so cheesy. The hallelujah! And then all the church ladies just, oh, that's cute. I was like, oh my God, why is that? Why? Stop it. That was too cheesy even for me. I mean, I was like, what the fuck? Come on. In fact, funny thing about that, when talking about a backstory from our life, our band had played a show in Cedar Falls on like a weeknight. And as we did during the shows, or as I did, I got so hammered, you had to drive me back, and I wound up crashing at your place, and I remember being very drunk going, hey, put in Rockstar.
Oh, yeah.
And then passing out up until that part came on, and I bolted up, like, hallelujah, and then passed out again.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Awesome.
Maybe that's why that scene bothers me so much, because it just reminds me of being so stupid drunk I couldn't function. Hallelujah. All right, so then after that, he's getting his nipple pierced. And you start getting into the backstory of he's doing that because Bobby Beers got it done last week. How the fuck does this guy in 1985 know what some guy did in Britain a week ago? That's how obsessively he follows this band.
Yeah, so if anyone remembers, the only way you would get any... Let's see, so MTV was on then. Because we're talking mid-'80s, probably.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
So maybe, possibly.
Maybe MTV. But it would have had to have been, like, Rip Magazine or some shit like that.
But yeah, so that scene goes to show just how obsessed this guy is with Bobby Beers, the Steel Dragon singer, that got to get his nipples pierced. And then there's a continuity error in that scene. Okay, if this is supposed to take place in, 85, 86...
Something like that, yeah.
There's an AC/DC song playing in the background that wasn't released till 1990.
See, I don't know if that was for the benefit of the viewer. Just the director. I watched the director's commentary.
Oh, okay.
So the director admits, like,
that was a
song,
screw up.
Not that song. It wasn't a screw up. They have songs that don't fit the era because he was going he was using the soundtrack of the movie to create a mood or feeling. And he felt like, this song, did this, and this song did that for me.
That I can definitely see, absolutely. The reason why I think it bothered me in that scene, though, was because the song is, quietly in the background, as if it's played on a radio in the room.
Which it could have been.
That was the impression that I got, that they were listening to a cassette deck or something. I'm thinking, wait a minute, did they have a time machine while they were at it?
Yeah. So I don't think some of those were necessarily continuity errors as it was creative right of the director.
Well, I suppose no different than the Sofia Coppola Marie Antoinette using Bow Wow Wow and Susie and the Banshees in her soundtrack about Marie Antoinette, where clearly music like that hadn't even been invented yet.
Right.
But it works so well for that movie.
Yeah, so he gets his nipple pierced. Fun fact, that was a body double.
Oh, kind of like his Dirk Diggler prostate.
Yeah.
Or prostate. Prosthetic.
Stuck cock.
Jesus God. But anyway.
So Mark Wahlberg was like, I'm going to do it for real. Let's do it for real. And he ended up talking himself out of it. The director was like, that's fine, because I wouldn't have done it.
Hell no.
But they got somebody who actually had a piercing so they could do many takes.
I see, all right.
Until they got it right.
Boy, we have dove into this nipple scene longer than I thought we were going to.
Yeah, well, it's all because I watched the director's commentary.
I kind of want to do that now.
Yeah, I do that on a lot of movies I watch.
I never do, but then again, I don't.
Well, you have to understand, I like movies. I worked in a video store.
You did, as we've discussed, and yeah, you're a movie guy to where I'll buy an album and obsessively go over the inner sleeve of a Sleep album. And you remember the last podcast I was talking about, I couldn't figure out why they had a picture of breakfast in that album, The Sciences. You figured out every little Easter egg in that goddamn picture.
Yeah, I looked at it like twice.
Yeah.
Tony Iommi's in the toast like he's Jesus. Like you can see the outline of Jesus in a toast.
His face is burned into a piece of toast next to a left-handed fork. Iommi left-handed. And then Bill Ward is the missing kid on the fucking milk carton.
Yeah.
And vitamin D-O.
Yeah, milk. Vitamin D-O milk.
And then, you have the butler. But it was the Ozzy thing was the one that you really pointed out to me was... Because I was asking you, I said, okay, where's Ozzy? So,
spilt OJ.
Do you see the spilled orange juice? And I immediately knew Decline of Western Civilization, where he's shaking, trying to pour the orange juice.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, he faked all of that.
Right.
But yeah. And that relates to Rockstar. Oh, yeah, the obsessing over liner notes, and then we figured that out. Good for us.
Right.
Good for you, really. But, yeah, so anyway, all right, the nipple pierce. What the hell happens after? Oh, their gig.
Yeah, their gig, which is at a steel mill.
At a steel mill. And I got to say, whereas we were talking about the rehearsal space kind of giving me goosebumps, setting up for that gig did the same thing. Because I had seen gigs set up in the 80s. They always had the lights and these massive productions.
That was done on purpose. The director also said that he wanted it to look like a music video from the time.
And it did.
It does, aside from having chicks in cages dancing.
Right. There was nothing like that in North Iowa, but
yeah, so they had it all. They had, the lights, like you said, it was fucking can lights, homemade can lights.
Yep. Oh yeah. My father had a couple boxes of those. Yeah, so I saw that and I'm just like, holy shit, I've seen these in the basement. This is great.
Yeah. So they when they were writing and directing the film, they went out of their way to get the input, like from, like I said, the real fake band members.
Yep.
Gave their input, like, yeah, it was like this.
Right. Well, and every one of them came up from the 80s, so they knew. But yeah, so they're at their tribute gig.
I cannot believe how many people came.
I was shocked. I'm like, what the fuck? How big is this steel mill? Are these all the workers here? But yeah, so then you get him thanking the crowd and all this stuff, and then he goes into the British accent because, wait a minute, I forgot we're Steel Dragon, I'm British.
Yeah.
No, this next tune. It's like, oh my god. And then they get in the second fight of the movie.
Which is just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so what happens is they're doing Stand Up and Shout, and the guitar player, if you will, starts adding extra leads, I guess is the only way I could put it.
Yeah, and noises, like little stuff.
And Chris Cole is getting
It doesn't
pissed.
sound bad or anything.
No, I was listening to the soundtrack waiting for that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was so great, but so at one point Marky Mark walks over to his guitar player and he starts in his Marky Mark irritated adolescent voice. There's no solo break after the chorus. I mean, and he's pissed. He is pissed. And the guitar player's just like, they don't care. But that's not how the song goes. And
that's a moment of. It's a moment of. It's like, yeah, that's believable, but it's also unbelievable. They're having this full conversation while you're on stage playing.
Yes, how can they hear each other that goddamn clear?
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is something you would obviously save until after the show,
right? Because you wouldn't be able to hear each other.
You wouldn't be able to hear each other.
But no, plain as day, and then the music just drops out about the time they're yelling at each other.
Yeah. And jumps back in to sing.
And then
he starts making more noise and shit.
This time with a beer bottle. And then Marky Mark walks over to his mic stand and smokes his fucking amp.
Oh, he unplugged his amp.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He was decent about it at first.
You don't do that, man.
Plug that fucker back in. That's the other part that I thought was great.
They've got roadies. They have roadies. Guess what? Those roadies are the real roadies.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because they had real rock stars in the band. They also were like, fuck, bring your roadies. We're making a movie.
Because I'm going to say, fuck, that whole thing just looked authentic as hell.
Because they actually had roadies that were real roadies and knew what to do. They had actual people, musicians, not just actors.
All right, so the guitar gets unplugged. Guy doesn't plug it in himself. He yells at his roadie, plug that fucker back in, and proceeds to, I don't know, sweep, I guess is that the technique he was using?
I don't. He was just fucking
making a bunch of lead wanking noises. At which point, Marky Mark walks over with his fucking heavy bassed mic stand and smashes his fucking amp head.
Blows up.
And then my favorite part of that whole scene, oddly enough, is the fucking guitarist whipping off his guitar and tossing it to his roadie.
Yeah. And then tackles him.
No, he had a roadie to catch his fucking guitar. I'm thinking, if we did a show like that, there would be no roadie catching your guitar before you kicked my ass.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't sacrifice the guitar either. You'd probably just flip it off to the side, punch me, and then be back to it. But there would be no roadie to catch your guitar.
True.
And I don't know that you would trust anybody to catch it anyway.
I don't know. So they must have been like a really top-tier tribute band.
Well, they were the premier one in Pittsburgh, remember?
Right.
Yeah, not Black Babylon with the guy with his red lapels.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking fraudulent.
Singer from fucking Third Eye Blind or whatever.
Yeah, Stephen Jenkins, that's right. I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, even the fake band had real.
I forgot he was that guy. No wonder he was so unlikable. I'm gonna say you know what? You were responsible for Semi Charmed Live. I have to hate you for that. No matter what cool movie you may have been in after. Do. And there are people I work with who still listen to that. I think Reliving 97 or some chick they probably banged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful song. Awful.
Unbelievable.
Although I liked the name of the band though. Third Eye Blind?
Oh, Black Babylon?
No, Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
I oddly enough like that name.
Did you catch the reference when he was? This is earlier in the film where like that little because his mom he lives with his mom Chris Cole.
Oh yeah, and his mom obviously runs a daycare. And like that little kid was playing with his Steel Dragon records. Oh, Lubricator.
Whatever it was.
It was Lubricator.
Okay.
Signed by all 5 members.
Right. There's even a spelling error on the liner.
Oh, that's right.
I believe that's in reference to Black Sabbath. Self-titled because there's
Ozzy with the
IE.
Yeah,
I
know you do because
I have that one.
I know you do.
Speaking of Black Sabbath, the self-titled, it's 51 years old today.
February 13th. Yep.
Friday the 13th, 1970.
That's right. Yeah, there's your One More Last Time anniversary fact of the day. You're right. This is when the album was
One
released.
of my favorite albums is 51 years old. Jesus Christ.
Hey, at least we're not 51 yet.
Yeah.
No, I still got a few years of 40 the hard way to get through to get to that one. But
yep.
And then when he was looking at that album, the one album that I noticed in his collection was the Deep Purple album, Burn.
Yeah.
I thought that was just awesome to have in there.
So, all right, so their show ends, and then it kicks to like their practice the next time they have a practice.
Where, of course, Marky Mark and Jennifer Aniston are sitting in the car in the rain.
Right. I guess we probably forgot to mention that Jennifer Aniston's in this movie.
And that's
while she was still doing Friends.
Yep. She was a massive name at the time.
Yeah, huge. So it really surprises me this movie didn't take off a lot bigger.
She couldn't save Office Space either. But
and that's a cult classic.
And Office Space is a great movie, but just nobody cared when it was released. But yeah, Jennifer Aniston, maybe we forgot about her because she was the big name. I get it that she would be what you would want there in a lead role, but whereas I find her funny, I genuinely like her acting. I never got the she's so fucking hot obsession with her. She's good looking for sure. There's no disputing that, but I just didn't get the whole, oh my God, what a bombshell thing about her. Maybe that's why we forgot about her.
I don't know. I just forgot that she's the girlfriend/manager.
Or either that or we're just such music fucking dorks. We don't give a shit about anything. We'll spend an hour discussing the misprint on a fictional album.
Yeah. Yeah, but Jennifer Aniston, one of the biggest stars of the time, was in this movie.
She certainly was. But yeah, so they go down to the rehearsal space underneath the porno theater.
Yep.
That is definitely showing all that jizz that night.
This is another scene where the director took input from real band members and said, hey, this is what the scene is. Can we get some input on how, obviously, you guys have been in different bands, broken up, whatever.
Yes, what would it be like?
What would it be like? So they got
they nailed it.
Yeah, they did. They got real input from like real bands.
Yep, all of that. And
which is funny because this scene mirrors the other scene coming up.
my scarf.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, fucking no, because and I've laughed so hard at that part because I referenced that part one time when one of our bands decided to call it a break or whatever the hell. And I came down to the basement to collect my PA, and I looked right at you and said, "This is my mic stand, and I'm taking it." Those aren't your cables, though. Fuck you, Chad. But yeah, fuck that whole scene where Mark Wahlberg, fucking, he just plays the frustrated young guy so well. I've always called him the perfect whiner. I'm not saying that Mark Wahlberg whines or that he's anything less than Mark Wahlberg, but when he has to whine in a movie, nobody does it better. Like Boogie Nights, I know karate, or fucking just when he gets in that argument with his ex-bandmates. This is my mic stand, and I'm taking it.
Yeah.
He's just such the perfect whiner. A desperate man at the end of his pitiful rope. He's going down flailing. But yeah, I fucking love this. This is my mic stand, and I'm taking it. These are my cables.
Yeah. And he's like, get him the fuck out of here. You made your point.
You, out of here. Did you hear the voice he brought with him?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Fucking, we're not a cover band, we're a tribute band.
Well, I think Hole in the Half kicks ass, and I'm prouder than shit to have written it.
Maybe that's why we get so many requests for it. Why did you write a song about, I would never want to do something like that? God. Just anybody listening, go back and watch the scene. It's great.
It is.
But yeah, so he eventually storms out of the rehearsal space, and Jennifer Aniston swears at him, and then they leave.
Yeah, and I don't know how much time is supposed to pass between that and...
They never really say.
You're supposed to guess. I kind of feel like a lot of time has passed. Maybe a few weeks.
I'm going to assume a few weeks because you remember at the steel mill, there were the two twins or whatever.
Yeah, the groupies.
The blonde and the brunette who were based not loosely at all on the Cinderella videos from the 80s where they had the evil stepsisters. Yeah, blonde and a brunette.
Yeah.
Carousing their way through crowds. Yeah,
so they're like groupies that they know.
Not just any groupies, super groupies.
Super groupies who also know Steel Dragon.
Yeah, they're because you'll see them hanging out with Kurt Cuddy in his ill-advised Speedo in this scene.
Some Malibu mansion or something.
Yes. But yeah, fucking so they videotaped his concert and he gets a call. He's waking up dejected, probably hungover or something. And, oh, Chris, it's Kurt Cuddy. And he hangs up on him because he thinks it's a prank.
Yeah.
Then the phone rings again, and he finds out it is, in fact, Kurt Cuddy because he knows all these details about his life. About what he called his first wife and how he accidentally called his second wife that, so he refers to all of them as Toddy. And then he says, I'm sorry about your dog. I sent flowers after your dog died. Can we get on with it? This is your life crap. And this poor Kurt Cuddy's probably on the phone going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's 1985. How does he know my goddamn dog died? And how does he know I have a dog? And how do you get my address to send flowers to me?
Oh, shit. That kind of that little thing right there reminds me of the you ever hear the Steve-O story of how he got to go backstage with the Valley Crew?
Yeah.
Where he like called every hotel.
Yeah. Stalked him out.
Finally found him.
Yep. Yeah, I do remember that, but yeah, so then after determining that this was in fact Kurt Cuddy, the guitar player from the Steel Dragon on the phone, takes up an offer to go to LA, I believe.
Yeah.
To go audition.
Because of course it would be LA.
Right.
Because it's the 80s.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. So him and his girlfriend go
Manager,
yes. They both fly out there. They meet up with a woman named Tanya. Who, as it turns out, was Bobby Beer's ex-lover, which makes a lot of sense later on in the movie.
Yeah, as time progresses.
But I'll just say, I don't give a damn what we find out about the Tanya character later. That was a woman playing that part, and that woman was fucking hot.
It was a woman playing that part.
Yeah, God, was she smoking. I'm sorry, the striped pants, short black, hell yeah.
So... All right, so they're taking him. He lands. They put him in a limo, and they're taking him to the studio or whatever.
The house/studio.
That's the Houdini mansion.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So a lot of bands have recorded there. Slipknot being one of them.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that was the place.
That's the Houdini mansion. Huh. Yeah.
Well, in this movie though, is home to one Kurt Cuddy.
Right.
Who, yeah, this British rock. metal musician who has this expansive fucking drug dealer mansion.
Yep.
And people are camped out outside of it.
Yeah, so like when they go in, they're looking at all the memorabilia on the wall, like the gold records on the wall and shit. There's like, I don't know how close you paid attention to that, but in the background there's like Ace Frehley's boots.
No, I didn't see.
There's real memorabilia on the wall and shit there. There's like Ace Frehley's boots and maybe Paul Stanley's.
That leather suit had to have been Halford's then.
Yeah, that like
the bondage, whatever the hell,
the spikes, like the Exciter.
I'm pretty
Exciter tour.
I'm pretty sure Halford wore something
leather.
like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they walk in, they see all this memorabilia, and then they get to the studio.
No, they stop and talk about the guitar.
Right.
The Flying V.
The 58.
1958.
Yep.
Flying V and Fire Mist Gold. That's not even a real color.
No? No. I'm just saying that I didn't know. Fire Mist. I like
Fire Mist Gold. Not a real color.
Right, so they finally get done gawking and shit after Tanya.
So they go to the booth, and the guy leaving the booth
is
fucking.
He was known as David Lee Ralph, but Michael Sains. Ralph Sains.
Yep, from
who's now Michael Starr in Metal Shop or Steel Panther.
Steel Panther,
whatever they call themselves now. Yeah, Steel Panther.
So he must have got the Botox injection in his lips because
what the hell?
Because he looked normal in this movie, and then you see him now. I don't even know what they call him. Lexi? Is his name Lexi or some shit?
I don't know. They
Steel Panther.
They change it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But Steel Panther used to be Metal Shop, and I have that CD, Hole Patrol.
Yeah.
Oh my God, brilliant, puerile genius, and they're still a going concern, which good for them. But yeah, fucking Ralph Sains leaves the booth after singing this horrible rendition of rock and roll.
Yeah, because he was putting a David Lee Roth spin on everything.
Why did I not clock that? But yeah, he actually absolutely was Diamond Dave in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it now. But yeah,
because he was in
Atomic Punks.
The Atomic Punks. I think he was in that band at the time of this movie.
Yep. Yeah, so fucking he leaves the booth looking very perturbed. And at that point, they're exchanging pleasantries with Chris Cole, and this guy wearing a very flamboyant silk shirt and leather pants storms in there with a very angry sounding British accent, and I don't know, what the hell did he even say? Well, you bloody replacing me with a fucking kid! Or something like that.
Yeah. But it mirrors that fucking mic. These are my cables.
Yep.
He's like, this is my scarf.
Right. Well, no, he gets it. But then they were in there fucking arguing and shit, and then out of nowhere, Bobby Beers, the guy wearing the very flamboyant shirt, says, it's because I'm gay, isn't it?
You think I've got my nipples pierced
and I have a house in Morocco because I'm John fucking Wayne.
John Wayne. And he's like, you're gay?
Yeah, and they both look at him like, you didn't know?
Yeah, you didn't know?
Fucking, but yeah.
You couldn't tell?
Did you really think Kim was a girl? Kim's a guy? Kim the guy? Yeah, also happens to be my lover. Much to the horror of these closet sausage jockeys. And then that's where you get Zakk Wylde's first
That's where you
line.
meet that's where you meet
the rest
band.
of the band.
Steel Dragon.
And that's where Zakk Wylde gets his first line, and it's got to be the ultra macho homophobic line. Yeah, whatever, pal, just keep your dick away from me. Really? Okay, you're definitely Zakk Wylde, Black Label Society badass. You got to have the one homophobic remark.
Like the last time he shaved.
Yes, because he never had a clean shaven face ever again.
Yeah, this was like because can't show his face again.
No,
I was in the movie Rockstar, and I can't show my face again, so that's when he started growing a beard.
Yeah, possibly, but yeah, Zakk Wylde all clean shaven, and he's keep your dick away from me. It's like, I wonder if Zakk made them write that line in there so he could say it.
I don't know.
I gotta wonder about that. But then again, I don't know. You read that book of his, Bringing Metal to the Children.
Yeah.
He's constantly making jokes like that are like hilarious. It's like he almost has an obsession with it. But yeah, he's definitely not homophobic.
So the Steel Dragon band is Jeff Pilson on bass
from Dokken.
Zakk Wylde, obviously,
from Ozzy's band and Black
Label.
Jason Bonham.
Yep, Jason Bonham on
as
drums.
In John Bonham's son, for those that somehow don't know.
Don't know that.
But yeah, Jason Bonham. And the one thing I found really very strange about Bonham's drumming in this movie was he didn't sound like Bonham.
And he won't.
Well, no, have you heard his like solo band or whatever the hell from the 80s? He plays like his father.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that can play like his
Yeah,
father.
I've heard. Have you heard the tribute thing he's done?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just, it sounds just like it.
Yeah, and like he's the only one that can do that. People have been trying for years to replicate Bonham's style. Nobody can.
Well, I guess when John Bonham teaches you himself.
Or you have the bloodline.
Yeah.
I almost think it has to be like a bloodline thing. You can only drum like that if your last name is Bonham, and the DNA clearly says John Henry Bonham was my father.
Yeah.
Was it John Henry?
I'm not sure. But fun fact, Jason Bonham and Zach Wilde didn't get along on set.
Oh, no?
For a while. And I guess Jeff Pilson had to be like the mediator.
Really?
So I guess they also wrote these songs during filming.
Oh, so I believe that.
You know.
And speaking of the songwriting credits, that's one of my favorite little, I don't know, I guess trivia things about this movie is who wrote what songs. Blood Pollution. Twiggy Ramirez was a co-writer on that.
I gotta find the soundtrack so I can see who.
Which makes perfect sense because the whole thing's about cocaine. Fucking looked in the mirror, all I saw was white and all that. Yeah, Twiggy Ramirez co-wrote that. Sammy Hagar co-wrote Stand Up and Shout. Which, really, I don't know how I feel about that. Long Live Rock and Roll was a Rainbow song that I'm pretty sure Ronnie James wrote all the lyrics to. God, what the fuck? Living the Lie, I don't know who the hell wrote that. I don't really care. But, yeah, the Twiggy co-write and the Sammy Hagar co-write I thought were just fascinating.
You said Living the Life. That was Peter Beckett and Steve Plunkett. I don't even know who those are.
I'm thinking of Steve Hackett from Genesis. Steve Plunkett, I know that fucking name. I don't know how or why I should. But
So Wasted Generation.
Oh, that was another song. Who wrote that?
Desmond Child.
Of course. That's such a perfect Desmond Child song.
Yeah, Stand Up was written by Sammy Hagar.
Mm-hmm.
What
Blood Pollution was Geordie White.
Where the hell is it? Oh, yeah. Yep.
Aha. Yeah, and speaking of Geordie White and Twiggy Ramirez, interrupting the flow of the movie for news.
Oh, please do, because I wanted to.
Yeah, we need to cover this. Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, what? I suppose he's everything he said he is.
Yes. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. That's the thing that gets me about all these accusations and allegations and all this is the distinct lack of surprise of everybody who's heard about this. But the thing that is the infuriating part to so many, myself included, is, okay, now that Evan Rachel Wood came out and named him, and a bevy of other women are coming out and saying, yeah, he did this, yeah, he did that. Only now, after people said, oh yeah, we knew this, oh yeah, we had heard about this, only now does his record company drop him. Only now does his management drop him. Only now do these TV shows drop him. Okay, you all knew about this, but you waited this long?
Well, what really surprises me is, like, Dita Von Teese says he was nothing like that at the time they were married.
Yeah, and you know what? She had every right to say that. People were pissed at her. It was like, how can you? It's like she's saying, you know what? I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying speak out, but I just have to say for my part, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, and even Sharon Osbourne was like,
I only have a working relationship. I've never seen anything else.
Right.
And that's kind of the way of covering her ass because she, had a working relationship with him. Mm-hmm. Her way of getting out of the fire, which is incredibly shrewd, is to say, I never saw anything like this. I can't comment. I can't speak to that. I'm not saying that they're lying. What I'm saying is I didn't see that. Right. It is basically her way of saying, don't lump me into this. I didn't condone it because I didn't know about it. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is I actually, after all this, I found my copy of Long Hard Road Out of Hell, polished it off in a night. It was all right there.
The whole time.
It's the whole thing. He talks about beating the shit out of one of his exes on stage. He talks about ripping a fucking clitoris ring out of some bitch just to do it. He talks about throwing beer bottles at women. It's all there.
Yeah, long history of degrading women. Like that one chick they fucking threw meat at or whatever.
Oh, you see, and that's where Manson, for his defense, though, that deaf chick went along with all of it and encouraged it. That's not a good example. I'm sorry to piss on your example, but no, that's an example that he can use saying, you know what, these were all consensual, because the deaf chick was. I saw a documentary with her in it. I've seen what she looks like. She was retelling the story again, exactly how he told it. They covered me in meat. They pissed on me. Yeah, she loved it. Manson can point to an example like that. But it's the other people saying, I didn't consent to this. But it was all in his fucking book 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And at one point, and that's not why I'm saying he had a right to do what he did. Hell no, he didn't. These women have a right to speak out.
It's kind of like that. What was that fucking guy on E? That host that was on E. They got in they tried to drag him because he had a sex contract with whoever he was with, and he was like, you knew, I was up front. I told you what I wanted. You signed a contract.
And you know what? That I see what you're saying there, and I get that end of it. I mean, there really are no good guys or anything like this, but I guess the thing with I don't think
the thing is, like, E dropped him as a host,
right,
and then they picked him back up.
And that's where the Manson thing, I don't know how much this is really going to hurt him, because he's fucking 51 years old, somehow still releasing albums, which blows my mind. But
they're not any good.
I was never a Manson fan. I don't feel one way or the other about him. But it's like, okay, what damage is this going to do now?
His record stopped being good a long time ago.
I'll take your word for it. But it's like, what message is this sending now? You let this shit go. And here's the thing about him. Whereas I'm not giving him any pass for how he's treated people, because it's awful. But you put his background of just being bullied, unpopular, a gangly kid, to being not only famous but legitimized, and then I always relate everything to this, and I don't care, you put cocaine on top of that and an endless supply of it. This guy's moral compass is non-existent. It never had a reason to be, and the thing is, it just kept going. And that's what people are saying, is this should have been stopped long ago, but it wasn't. You take 30 years of cocaine abuse and being able to do whatever you want and not have any kind of consequence. What do you think's gonna happen? Manson is gonna happen. I'm not surprised at any of this.
Oh, I'm not either.
But I think
I want to know what how Johnny Depp and Nicolas Cage feel about this, because they kind of hang out with him.
I know Johnny Depp's gotten in some fucking hot water lately.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about Nick Cage, but
that guy always seems like he's wasted anymore.
Well, and then Reznor for his part. He does, but no, Reznor for his part, and Trent Reznor, good on him he's spoken of disdain for Manson for years.
Yeah, he's like, I washed my hands of him 20 years ago.
And he's had to do it all over again because of a story Manson put in his book that I read that Trent denied when it came out. Now all of a sudden this story's resurfacing. Well, Trent, you were doing this. He's like, yeah, I denied that 25 years ago.
Yeah, I'm
still denying it now. Yeah, Manson, really read his book sometime, and
I've read it several times.
I mean, like, read it. The older
read it again.
The older you get, the more you realize, like, I mean, I've said this several times. I thank God I never got famous, or that I was never given any kind of power like that, because I tell you what, the beating of women I wouldn't have done, but I tell you what, I'd have ran my mouth and I'd have burned every bridge available. And that's all that book is burning bridges. He doesn't say a good thing about anybody in it. Anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and reading it last weekend, I was like, that's when it really hit me. It's like, this guy doesn't say a fucking good thing about literally anybody in his life. Anybody. Everybody, from his parents to his family, to his bandmates, every fucking one of them, he's got something shitty to say about. It's fucking really awful to read. Okay, you take that mindset when he was 27. He's 51 now. You think he's changed?
Oh, no.
No, there's going to be no convincing him. But, yeah, as far as what it's going to do to his career, nothing. It's not going to do anything to it. We already hit a pandemic where live performance is not a thing, so it's not going to affect his live shows. Streaming, I guess his streams went up after this story hit.
Yeah.
He got more downloads.
I heard something about that.
Yeah, and
because people were like, "Oh, Marilyn Manson, I remember him."
Well, and that's the weird thing though too, is after I was reading these stories,
he still has music.
Well, I was mentally going through what his catalog sounded like, and I was revisiting it. it wound up being publicity for him, for my thoughts. You know, I don't fucking think about Marilyn Manson. I couldn't give a shit about his music, but yeah, as soon as the story hit, I was playing Antichrist Superstar in my head. It's like, God, what did that album sound like? Oh, right, I hated it. Sorry, but I did.
Okay.
Hated it then. I still just, you know, as a piece of artwork, fine, but it just musically, I didn't get what the fuck everyone saw in it. So yeah, that's why the Manson story is just like, okay, yeah, he's scum, but this doesn't break my heart to hear this. This isn't disappointing. This is, okay, yeah, you're shocked by this? Really?
Got any other music news? We talked about Black Sabbath, Marilyn Manson.
Yep, we talked about the Sleep album sleeve that we finally...
Oh, speaking of which, I finally got Dope Smoker.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I ordered it from Canada.
Okay, did you get the brown, gold, or whatever the hell it was vinyl?
Yeah, what'd they call it? Like hashish or something?
Jesus.
Because it's brown, it's like a translucent brown.
Okay, mine was just green.
Yeah. It was a even lower limited edition number than yours, like 500 copies of this thing.
That's much lower. I think mine was 3,500? Shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know it's cool looking. It's got the hologram.
Yep, the
hologram. Foil, whatever the hell.
Hologram cover and stuff. It is cool. I didn't open it yet.
No?
No.
Oh, dude, that's... Follow the Smoke to the Rift-Filled Land on vinyl. It's just so amazing.
We seem to plug Sleep a lot.
Well, that was your doing, and it's my... Basically, you started the fire. I'm the one that keeps throwing gasoline on it because you somehow inexplicably got me hooked on them. Yeah. And I didn't want to be when I first started listening to them.
But you should try High on Fire. That's good, too.
See, and I've done High on Fire, and I guess to me, it's like... It's the same reaction that, oddly enough, my stepson had when I played him Sleep the first time. Because he's a major Tool guy. So I thought, well, here, check this out. And the first time he heard it, he's like... You know, I'm sorry, Josh. You know, I don't want to like offend you, but I'm not into this. I'm like, doesn't offend me. Just, you know, whatever. Next week, he comes over and we're hanging out, and he's like, dude, you got any Sleep? I'm like, you want to hear Sleep? It's like, I don't know what it is. I don't like the Leagues Beneath song that you sent me, but I can't get it out of my head. This like isn't bad. And then, you know, a week after that, I was like, walks in, I'm playing, so he's like, so Sleep, huh? I'm like, yeah, you want me to shut it? I was like, no, leave this on. I'm going, you got hooked on it, didn't you? He's like, well, it's like Tool, but it's riffs. I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. And then he asked me, well, why don't you like Tool? I said, dude, it just meanders to me. He said, but this meanders too. I said, you're right, this does meander, but it's meandering on a guitar. It's a riff. It's just different strokes, man. I'm a Sabbath fan all the way, so it's all about Sabbath, and these guys are Sabbath, you know? Yeah, that's how I got hooked on it. That's how he got into it, and it just keeps happening. But High on Fire, my stepson and I kind of had the same view of it's good, but I don't know. Just I don't ever want to really actively listen to it. Maybe I need to see him live if they ever tour again.
Maybe. It's good, too. I like it a lot.
No, it's not bad. You know, it's fucking Matt Pike. But, you know, I mean, it just... I don't know why. It's like I could do without that, but Sleep, I've just... irrevocably hooked on.
Remember we were talking about like the BMG CD club?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I signed up for a metal vinyl club.
Yes, you did. And your first one was Stormtroopers of Death, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the first one. It'll be next month's whenever they send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things about that vinyl club is they let me know what I'm eating ahead of time, so then I can opt out if it's something that's shitty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what are you getting next time, then?
Well, I don't know. I just know that I missed out on High on Fire.
Oh, no!
that would be this month's release, so it's like prorated. I pay the month before, and then I get a...
I see.
Then I get a vinyl, so...
Okay.
So the March release is Stormtroopers of Death, and I'm super excited about that, because I have an original copy. This is like a 30th anniversary.
I see.
You know, a reissue. And I have the original that I found in this really cool record store in Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So I was pretty excited.
Hey, you got that bottle opener?
Oh, sure. Here you go.
Let me crack another St. Pauli girl here. But, yeah, speaking of vinyl and Matt Pike, really. Okay, you talk about what a dope I am. Do you know that I was yesterday old when I figured out that Third Man Records is owned by Jack White?
Are they?
You didn't know that? I figured you knew stuff like that.
I probably did, but it's something I probably forgot. That seems about right.
It does, and that's the whole thing that I was just like, my mind was blown because if there's a vinyl I'm after, it's that 4 vinyl box set of Sleep Live at Third Man Records.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a set they did that was recorded direct to acetate. It was a live set made for a vinyl release. And just listening to it on YouTube, because that's the only avenue I have for it, I want that box set. I want to hear that on my turntable. But, so I did a little further diving into it, okay, so Third Man Records, that's the label that Sleep is on. And started really kind of reading into it, and I found the Wikipedia page, and yeah, Jack White owns that label, owns that pressing plant, owns all of it. It's all Jack White. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, God, I was not a White Stripes fan, but I am a huge Jack White fan now, because this guy is just in it to make music. He's in it to release music. He really is like the old school. He's the real deal. So you know what? Salute Jack White.
Never thought I'd hear that one. But
I never thought I'd say it, but that was where, talk about my closed-mindedness, years ago in my 20s, just being angry or whatever. So the White Stripes were popular, so I had to hate them. But even back then, I remember people telling me, just listen to Jack White. The guy is a fucking great player. No, I don't want anything to do with it. Fuck that, whatever. God, I think I missed out on some fucking good music.
Maybe. Well, he was in that. What was that?
Raconteurs was one of them.
Yeah. There was that documentary that had The Edge and Jimmy Page in it.
Shit. I know what you're talking about, too.
I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, it was like Jimmy Page, The Edge, and Jack White, and I was just going, why Jack White?
Well, my brother was one who was a White Stripes fan that was always trying to get me to get into him, and I was, fuck that, I ain't fucking listen to that, it's popular at MTV, and fuck them, they don't have a bass player, and he's like, well, just listen to the song Ballin' a Biscuit. I said, Ballin', what the fuck kind of title is that? And we were actually up at the bar one night, and he says, here, I'll put it on the jukebox, just listen to it, and I thought, fuck, fine, I can endure this for a minute or whatever. No, it's like this old school blues song that's just got this ripping solo in it. And I'm just like, not wanting to admit, it's like, I think this guy is probably pretty fucking good. Just even look up that song.
No, I've heard it.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
I'm not a big fan of the White Stripes or anything, but I've heard it.
Right.
It's not like I would just go out of my way to not listen to it.
Sure.
It's just, I don't know. I get it, but I always thought it was kind of contrived.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. They definitely...
But maybe it's not. Maybe he just legitimately likes blues music.
I think that's the case, just because, I don't know, so much of what they did was put under... And I think it was a time period thing that unfortunately swept them into a category that made me not like them. But that was when the whole garage rock thing was happening. That was what I called the bands whose names started with the and ended in ES.
Oh, yeah, the bands.
The Vines, the Hives, the White Stripes.
The Strokes.
The Strokes, yes. Yeah, all of them started with the, ended with ES, and they were all like these indie...
The Darkness.
No, we're not counting the Darkness, because it was...
Same time period,
because Darkness wasn't a plural, though.
The Darkness is...
The Darkness is the Darkness. They were harkening back to a whole other thing, but... Yeah, this wave of bands that were like these garage rock bands or whatever. Basically, bands, as far as I'm concerned, that could have afforded better equipment, could have afforded more distortion, and chose not to because it was indie cool. That bothered me. Because that seemed contrived to me. And I think, unfortunately, the White Stripes got put into that. And plus, they had the whole backstory of how Jack and Meg were brother and sister, when in fact they were husband and wife. They had the visually, striking uniform of the red and the white. There was very much an image attached to them and a backstory attached to them. And I think that, for my part, made me not like them because, this is contrived.
Yeah.
But then again, I never did just listen to the damn music.
Right.
And I think the music...
Like I said, I won't go out of my way to turn it off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that I like. That I like. Whereas, God, the whole wave of other bands that came around, Jesus, this is awful. The Hives was one I couldn't stand. But anyway.
I like the Killers.
I
like the Killers for one reason, is they have that Santa Claus trilogy.
Huh?
They have a song where the lyrics are "Don't shoot me, Santa Claus."
What?
Yeah, it's like it's this ongoing thing. It was like a trilogy of songs about Santa Claus
Really?
killing people.
No, the Killers. First of all, you named yourself the Killers. Shut up. That's awful. It's ironic, but it's not, okay? No, that should have been like a punk band from 77, the Killers, not them. And they just seemed like, they bothered me because they seemed like we're going to push back and do this retro sounding thing with keyboards or whatever the fuck. But it was their singer I couldn't stand. The fucking Brandon Flowers, who... There was one interview with him where he sounded, oddly enough, like Bobby Beers when he's scolding Marky Mark, thinking that you could be a rock star. You got to be in bed by 11 o'clock every night. Drinking drugs, don't touch them. You know, that Brandon Flowers was giving speeches like this, like, yeah, my wife and I were in bed by 11 every night. I got to get a good night's sleep. Like, what kind of rock star are you?
So, speaking of, what kind of rock star are you? Let's jump back into this movie.
We probably better. This has been digressing for a while.
So
they find out Bobby's gay.
Yep, and basically he leaves.
Yep.
So they try him out. They put him in the booth, and he flubs it a little bit
Twice.
and then he nails it.
Yep.
Like just fucking nails it.
And the reason they put that in there was because that was how Ripper Owens got his part in Judas Priest.
Right.
They did Victim of Changes, and he hit that obscenely.
That
fucking
I know
note.
what you're talking about.
And I've only ever heard one other singer hit that note, and it was a singer of a Judas Priest tribute band I saw in Austin, Texas. That singer was Jason McMasters from Dangerous Toys. Yeah. Hit the note perfect. It was fucking unbelievable.
Hit the note.
In fact, he should have been singing for Judas Priest because he did all the "thank you very much indeed" Rob Halford-isms and shit. It was fucking... He didn't look like Rob Halford, but he fucking sounded like him.
Yeah.
So, Jason, if you're listening, God, you're awesome.
So he basically gets the gig.
Yep. So you want the gig then?
And then it just snowballs from there.
Yep. At which point they are doing their first photo shoot, and the photographer of that is a guy named Neil Zlazauer or whatever.
Is he the real
real?
He's the real photographer. Yeah.
Yep.
They mentioned that in the commentary, but they didn't say his name.
Yeah, he was the guy that did Motley Crue,
Like
David Lee Roth,
famous
80s band photographer guy.
Yeah.
But there's a documentary about him that's actually pretty good. He's a sleazy motherfucker.
Yeah. I like he's like giving, the band the prep talk. You sold out the forearm, you got every girl.
Come on, give me some attitude.
Give me some attitude.
And the Chris Cole character can't quit smiling.
Of course.
At his good fortune.
Yeah, I mean, none of us would quit smiling.
No! And then there's the press conference.
Wait, so this is good.
Oh.
The press conference is good. But I want to interject this real
please.
quick.
What do you got?
This is a little brain teaser. So let's say this were you, right?
Uh-huh.
What band would you want to live out your fantasy as?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah,
Down.
brain teaser for you.
Down.
You'd do Down.
Either Down or Down, I guess.
Fuck, this is hard for me to answer.
Well, because you can actually play. You actually have talent, and you could jump playing guitar, bass, or whatever for how many bands? Me? I'm a fucking singer. That's all I do.
Yeah.
And the only vocal style I think I could possibly play with would be Down. And plus, I've got a Down tattoo, for Christ's sake, my all-time favorite band.
God,
Maybe UFO.
I don't know.
Just because I'm a UFO. Just because I'm a UFO geek. Only if Shanker joined, though.
I don't know.
And somehow they resurrected Pete Way.
I don't know how I would answer this.
That's a great question for you.
It is a great question for me because I don't know.
I don't know. Turn sleep into a four.
No. I think Black Sabbath or ZZ Top.
Good one. Well, you got the beard, so there you go.
Yeah, ZZ Top's fourth member.
Hell yeah, 3 beards and a beard. But no, great. Yeah, okay, Sabbath, I could absolutely see that with you because some of the riffs you write are just Sabbathy. That's so unreal. But yeah, for my part, yeah, Down is the only band I could think of because I'm not pretty enough to be Vince Neil. I'm not fucking badass enough to be Phil and Pantera. Fucking Down would be the only place I could possibly find home in. Or if Velvet Revolver, I suppose. I think I could have some fun with that.
Yeah, so this is where the movie is headed because it's like, what would you do if you were in one of the largest bands? So they do this press conference.
Oh, the press concert where for some reason Marky Mark can't decide if he's British or American.
Well, I think the band wanted him to have an accent.
Right.
I think that's where they're going with that.
Which he flubs at the first concert anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so they've calmed the whole world, and then they get to his part. Why are you called Izzy?
Izzy.
Yep. Well, it's like Izzy's revenge. And then there's, I don't know how I feel about this next part where first thing that happens is they ask him.
Do you have the vocal range?
All right, I forgot. And he does the fucking note. Stand up and shout.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, so he proves he's got the pipes.
I know how I got that voice.
Yeah.
And they ask him how he maintained his voice. So he breaks character immediately, starts speaking like this starstruck kid. Well, my choir teacher. And then Cuddy breaks in, and what does Cuddy say?
He got his voice eating pussy.
And his fucking parents are watching this press conference, and his mother has to make it even that much worse. Like father, like son. And his poor brother, come on, you guys.
Come on, you guys.
Okay, let's all take just a second and really sympathize with Glenn Guglia here. How really would you feel if you heard your mother say that to your father? I know how I would feel. Dead. That'd be the end of it. Fucking kill me now. There's no one learning that.
So then it cuts to him in a hotel room.
Oh, talking in the mirror,
practicing in the mirror, saying that he gets his voice eating pussy.
I ate pussy, loads of it. Day, night.
Breakfast, morning, noon, night.
And then, of course, now we remember Jennifer Aniston's in the movie again.
Oh, yeah, because she has a line.
And that line is?
Get in here and do it already.
Get in here and do it or shut up.
Oh, yeah, get in here and
and then Marky Mark becomes the kid again. All right.
Woo!
Which, wouldn't you react that way? Hell, I've reacted that way. Are you kidding? Clearly not with Jennifer Aniston.
Where does that go from there? They're like...
Because they go to when it's his first concert, they're setting up, and all of a sudden you hear that unmistakable Paul Stanley. Yeah!
Oh,
Because the song is Lick It Up. And this is where they show all their pre-concert rituals. There's Jason Bonham stuffing a fucking cup into the front of his pants.
Which is a real thing.
Yep.
So that was on the director's commentary. He said it was that's something a lot of drummers do, and he said Jason Bonham tried to explain it to me, but I didn't want to listen.
Fair enough.
So I don't know. I suppose maybe the boys get hot when you're drumming.
That could be.
Maybe you accidentally hit yourself. I don't know.
You seen our drummer? He's always in athletic gear when he's behind the kit.
Yeah.
He's wearing the wrestling tights and the fucking mesh shorts and the fucking bitch beater or whatever the hell he's wearing.
Sweat bands on his arms.
He's ready to run a marathon.
Tape on his hands.
Yeah, he's ready to run a marathon. Meanwhile, the rest of us three, we're just in our denim. But yeah, so I can see the drummer's got to have some athletic gear, if not support. And then you have Kurt Cuddy, the rhythm guitarist, meditating in an incense smoke-filled room in front of a statue of Buddha.
Yeah, I believe so.
He's meditating.
Zach Wilde's cleaning his guns.
No, he's lifting.
Oh yeah, he's lifting weights.
Yeah, he cleans the guns on the bus. But no, he's powerlifting. The guy's meditating. The guy's protecting his fucking goods with a cup. They never showed Jeff Pilson, probably because they couldn't show him doing a line or whatever.
Yeah, probably not.
But anyway, so
there's only so many lines you can show in an R-rated movie.
Yep, and they get him in the tour bus the next day with the porn. But yeah, fucking so then they're walking to the stage, and they're walking without Marky Mark because he's got to go up on the lift, and that's when you see Zach Wilde's character drinking a beer on the way to the stage. Hope that wasn't too much of a stretch. But yeah. But yeah, then you get
character acting on Zach Wilde's part.
Exactly, especially when they come off stage, he's got 2 bottles in the mouth at once. Yep.
Yeah.
But no, fucking so he goes up, gets ready to do his first show. He's, I gotta take a piss, and then too late for that. You're going up on.
You gotta use it.
You're going up on the lift
to descend down these stairs, like these steel stairs that they're not like a spiral, but they kind of like snake a little bit.
Yep, metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he makes his grand entrance and hits the
and then falls.
And what that's based on, there's a lot of Spinal Tap-isms in this, but what that's based on is Stephen Piercy from Rat.
Is it?
Yeah, he when they did
everybody. Fuck, Dave Grohl fell off the stage.
Fucking Dave Grohl broke his leg.
Corey Taylor.
Steven Tyler.
Tons of people have fallen off the stage.
But that one was based exclusively on Stephen Piercy.
Yeah.
Who got blinded by some lights or something like that and fell into a fucking photo pit. Something like that in front of a crowd or whatever the hell. But yeah, so blah, blah, blah. He plays the show. It goes over well. They all die young. And then they're done.
Yeah.
Then you get the after party.
So, oh wait, hold on a second. So is that So that's like the big concert scene, right?
One of them.
One of them. I think they're all like the same. They were all
Essentially.
filmed during the same time.
I think they had to.
So the one they shot that, they sold like raffle tickets, and they had like other 80s bands play.
Really?
Yeah, and that crowd is the actual crowd.
No shit.
Except for about 200 or 300 people up front. Those were like all the people who knew it was a movie.
Oh, I see.
So like the other people that were there, like they were there to see some fucking 80s bands. They didn't name which ones they were.
Right.
But like it was a real show, and then they were just kind of like, yeah, we're gonna shoot a movie. So stick around, you know.
I did not know that.
And like that's like Mark Wahlberg's real voice was mixed.
Oh, okay.
In that.
I could see that because there are parts where you could tell it's him.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, so they plays the concert. He's triumphant. They go walk backstage where Zakk Wylde's drinking 2 beers at once and everything else.
Yeah,
and that's when you start to get into the debauchery, I think, because first thing they do is they pile into a limo on their way to the club that. Boy, the 80s must have just been a time of money because somehow they had this club that was cleared out just for them, but then packed with fucking a full club's worth of people.
Right.
Where they're all dancing to In Excess.
Yep.
Devil inside. But that's when Zakk Wylde gets his second speaking part in the movie. When he has to take the shot, the band initiation, they called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you shove a fucking shot of tequila between some chick's cleavage and then you can't use your hands. And why? You're hanging with the hardcore now, brother.
Yeah.
Says Zakk Wylde, his hair teased up to heaven, baby faced and everything else.
Yep. That's like I said, you never saw him baby faced again. He retired it. He was like, if I'm going to tease my hair one more time.
Nope, but within that movie though, he did wear the leather bell bottoms.
Yeah.
The whole time, which was just awesome. But yeah, hanging with the hardcore. So Mark Wahlberg shoves his face in some bitch's cleavage and does a shot, which I've done that. It's not hard.
And they all cheer, and then it's just debauchery. Like it almost doesn't fit the theme of the movie. Like they're like in a dance club. Not even like a rock club. It's like a dance club.
That was the thing that got me about it. And the only takeaway I could get from that is inferring that Steel Dragon at the time was so massive that a mainstream club would have them in it. And they would be entertained by that.
Right. Because
they were just huge. They were like U2 big, or Queen big for that matter.
Yeah.
So
there's
all right.
There's a scene they shot that they cut. It's not a deleted scene because obviously they didn't show it. But
right.
So Jennifer Aniston's character is encouraged by their roadie or whatever manager.
Tanya.
Oh, is it?
Oh, wait, no. The guy?
Yeah, that guy, Matt's.
Oh, yeah, when he's sitting there telling everything's out for the taking. For you, too.
And he gives her like a shot or what moves, like a glass or a shot or something over to her to encourage.
Yeah.
Why don't you loosen up and party?
Yep.
Right?
Which she does, doesn't she?
Which she does, but what we don't know, because it's a cut scene, is she went into a bathroom and snorted a bunch of coke with some other women.
What?
So when you see her and she's fucked up, you just assume she's drunk.
Uh-huh.
But it's supposed to be a cocaine high.
Oh, dude, I totally got dicked.
Yeah, so then, they go back to the hotel and there's that huge orgy, after-party orgy.
Yep.
That's the only reason she participates. Because
she's all coked the fuck up.
Because they're all coked up.
God, they should have put that in the movie. That would have been brilliant. Nevertheless, though, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, and then you get to where they're dancing in the club and Tanya's making out with all of them and everyone's trading off partners and shit. And then the next day, first thing you see is Jennifer Aniston's heavily mascaraed eye open in this just sea of fucking bodies.
Sea of naked people.
Trying to escape from some guy. And then then you get to Marky Mark, wake up in the tighty whities, goes to go take a leak, walks in on somebody standing up taking a leak, and it turns out to be Tanya. She's got everything.
Yep.
God, I was so sad when I first saw that.
But the best part is, he goes, "Are those my pants?"
Yeah, rather snug, but that's the way I like them. Jesus Christ. I'm still pissed off that they had to make Tanya a fucking hermaphrodite. No, that bothers me.
Trans.
Wait, what?
Trans.
Whatever it is, she had a male member, And I was very disappointed because I thought she was the hottest one in the whole damn movie. And that's including the rock star guys' wives that we see in the next scene.
Oh yeah, so now they're shaking off the fucking party and they're loading up to go to the next town.
Yep. And that's when
all the rock stars' wives have a
limo, and then the band is in the bus, and she's not allowed in the bus, and he's not allowed around the wives. They got to separate everybody.
Right. I'll meet you in Seattle.
Yep. And so he's still Mr. Innocent. He walks on the bus, and there's Zach Wilde fucking cocking his shotgun. Oh, hey. What's up, bud? And then he goes to walk back, and all of a sudden the horror in his eyes get all wide when he sees a fucking porn on the fucking TV, and then Jeff Pilson crouched over a fucking pile of blow. Hey, you want some of this? Oh, no, I'm just going to go over the schedule. That's good for writing lyrics.
Yeah.
And then you get to Jennifer Aniston in the wife's limo. And the first blonde that talks is actually Vince Neil's ex-wife, Heidi Mark.
And isn't one of them like who? Some of them are like you said, real band guys' ex-wives.
Yeah, the only one I know of is Heidi Mark. I guess I don't know. I'm sure there's a few other ones in there, but I have no idea. But yeah, it goes into the dialogue about just let him get away with it and all this bullshit. And God, the movie just seems so unmemorable after that, up until you start picking and choosing different funny parts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay, we get it. You're living the rock star life now. So like, because it's basically after that, it turns into a montage.
Where Zach Wilde's shooting road signs in Wichita. And
yeah, like it's just a montage of like every city they go to next and how more disconnected with reality.
Right, riding motorcycles through the halls like John Bonham.
Throwing TVs out of the hotel room windows.
Your girlfriend shows up on a night she's not supposed to be there, and you don't know what city you're in and everything else. Yeah, I'm just dulled by it. Then you get to, what was it, 6 months later?
Yeah,
he's going to the studio in the Batmobile that he won in a drag race.
No. He bought the Batmobile.
And then won the other guy's car.
He won the Ferrari.
Yes, with the afterburner in the Batmobile that actually legit worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the 60s Batmobile. Just to show you the rock and roll excess of the time.
Yep, and they got it. And of course in that race scene, Zach Wilde's got to be seen drinking a beer.
Yep.
Can't be without it. But yeah, so he gets to the studio. He's all tired and jaded and meeting the fans and stuff, and then pulls in, and they're in the studio. And of course, you got to get Zach Wilde right back into character. So what'd you do on the break? I just fucking went hunting. Everything I fucking shot, I fucking killed. Here, have a beer.
Yeah.
Was any of this a stretch for him at all?
No.
But then the AC part was probably my favorite part. You know, Jason Baum talking and Zach Wilde saying, "You should get you and your girlfriend to come up. You know, hang out with us." Well, you know, she's got a yearbook meeting. It's like, oh my god, one little line that goes, "This guy's a depraved motherfucker." Yeah, because his wife ran off with Peter Gabriel or whatever the fuck.
That's right.
And then, well, you should bring your girlfriend there. Yeah, well, she's got a yearbook meeting. I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yep. But anyway, so fucking Mark Wahlberg shows up to fucking get to recording, get to work.
Brings in like a portfolio of like lyrics and artwork. And
he has an eyebrow ring.
And
Kurt Cudi freaks out. What have you done to your eyebrow? Oh, that's cool, isn't it? Well, clear that with us first. And that's where you hear is like, things were so regimented with the bands back then, you had to clear something like a piercing.
Yeah.
Because, right. So when he goes to fucking... Then he has the argument about how he wrote all these songs and fucking... Well, AC and I have already written the songs for the album. You just sing them. And then Kurt Cudi's got to be the prick to him. And if we don't do things the Steel Dragon way, our fans, our lost sheep, could wander off and enjoy the musical silence of, say, Rat. I remember hearing that line going, what's wrong with Rat? I like Rat. Fuck you. But yeah, that would have been the band in the 80s that nobody wanted anybody to like, but they sure the hell did.
Right.
Musical silence of, say, Rat. So then he goes to sing the first song, and that's when you get legit Marky Mark, because he raps
it. Yeah, he starts to rap it.
Got all my bitches and hoes in clothes.
And they're looking at him like, what the fuck? Just sing it like it's written.
Bitches and hoes in clothes.
because he realizes he realizes he's just the hired gun. Like he has no input in the band.
No, it's not his band.
Not
and
his
never
band.
was.
Yep.
Some raps. Bitches and hoes.
So then he goes back to like feeling in the dumps like he was at the beginning of the movie.
Right. And the manager's talking to him about how his wife or how he left his wife, but she's married now to his best friend, the doctor, or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're two gorgeous kids. Oh, she's so happy. And they're both just a couple of miserable fucks until they get to the next concert. And what should happen at that concert?
We come full circle.
Yeah, because Marky Mark, who is filling in for a singer he replaced, starts hitting the high note and fucking stand up and shout. And some kid in the audience is singing over him. So what does he do? He pulls him on stage and they do a duet and then they go backstage. And at that point, Mark Wahlberg says, "Here, you want to tear the roof off this joint?" Hands him the mic and quits the band and just walks out.
Yeah.
Now, you know who that guy was that he pulled out of the crowd.
Of course I do.
Who was it?
Miles Kennedy.
Miles fucking Kennedy. He's like the ghost behind the curtain in the movie 3 Men and a Baby. He's just there. He's always there. Somehow.
You know that's not really a ghost, right?
Yes, I know it's a cutout of Ted Danson and people are fucking stupid. But yeah, fucking he's just where did this guy come from and why is he every fucking where?
Did it start there?
I think it started with Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he replaced Scott Stapp and he did a brilliant Scott Stapp impersonation, and then Slash hired him to sing on a couple songs on his solo album, and then formed a whole offshoot band with him to where he does a pretty passable Scott Weiland and or Axl Rose impersonation.
Yeah.
And then he's in this movie doing these high notes because the God of Thunder. And
Thor, the God of Thunder.
that's right. Miles Kennedy is an interesting person if we're going to get off a track here and talk about anybody. This is the thing about Miles Kennedy. He's so likable. Every interview I've ever read with the guy, any footage I've ever seen of him, saw him at the surf fronting Slash's band. He's just the nicest fucking guy. There's literally nothing shitty about him. Slash at one point in the middle of that show that I saw says, "Hey, this is the fucking best vocalist I've ever fucking worked with." And Miles, like, you could see him almost blush. He's just going, and he just literally went, "Oh." And that was it. That was all he said was, "Oh, go on," you know? Just the most humble motherfucker you can imagine. So why does he irritate me so much?
I don't know. Maybe it's just his face.
There's nothing even offensive about the guy's face.
I don't know.
No, I think it's probably just, the yarling.
Yeah.
You ever listen to him sing like a Scott Weiland song or even an Axl song in a lower register? He yarls. Not only does he yarl, he over-exaggerates the yarl. Yarl! Like he's Lane Staley on Ludes, if you can imagine that.
Yep.
Yeah, really dying on that for a moment.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so Miles Kennedy gets pulled out of the crowd.
And it wasn't just a one-time thing. Like, it sounds like he just continues with the band. Like, they were okay with it.
You know, they never did answer that question.
Not really, but it paints that picture. Like, they continued on with this guy.
So kind of like Van Halen did with Gary Sharon.
Yeah.
Fuck it, why not?
And then they have, like, another kind of montage where they have the band reaction to him leaving.
Yes. And speaking of that band, I don't know why the hell I didn't bring this up when we started this rambling diatribe here, but why is half the band British and half of them American?
Because that's what happened with Ozzy's band.
Yeah, but that was a whole other ball game, though. In that Ozzy's band, you never... Okay, you're right. That was Ozzy's band.
Pretty much like every portion of Ozzy since Blizzard of Oz.
But yes, that was a solo artist, though. For whatever reason, a solo artist, I think of the bandmates as interchangeable. No, this is like the band. At what point first of all, where did they start? And second of all, at what point did half of that band become of a different nationality?
We demand a Steel Dragon
documentary.
Prequel movie.
Yeah, that's why I want to know, was Goad the original lead guitarist, or was he a stateside guy that they found after the original lead guitarist quit?
And why is his fucking name Goad?
Because it sounds very hyper male or something. I don't know. Goad. It sounds like goad. There's nothing effeminate about that,
I suppose.
Goad.
But it also sounds like chode.
Oh, Lord.
So there's that going for it.
I guess I never picked up chode, but then again, I'd be afraid to think anything negative about Zach Wilde for fear he'd fly to Iowa and kick my ass. And could. But, yeah, so a tribute singer replaces the tribute singer, and then probably it's the ending of the movie that I think really pissed people off about it. Because the movie got panned left and right. Judas Priest wants nothing to do with it, and I could see why. In a lot of ways, it misrepresented their story.
Yeah.
And that's why they said we're not getting involved in this.
Oh, a working title for the film was
God.
Metal God.
Yep. After Rob Halford, the Metal God. I think they probably had a lot to do with putting the kibosh on that. They wanted nothing to do with this. And I don't blame them, but I could see them being a bit put off with something that was inspired by them. And in fact, the idea for it came from a newspaper headline, didn't it?
I'm not so sure.
I think that's what the writers and directors did, was they saw a news story about it and thought, God, this would make a great movie. Well, they made a movie, all right, whether or not it's great. But
Well, it's a good movie.
It's fun. It's fun. You got to look at it as just fun.
So compared to a lot of other, sort of music and band type of movies,
Such as?
there's... aside from This Is Spinal Tap.
Right. That's a whole other ballgame.
That is. It's pretty good. It stands by itself, I think. I've seen other ones.
Sure.
I think there's one called Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
That's about a bunch of aging rockers that try to get back out there. And there are countless...
I guess just music biopics, really, even. Because this was, in essence, kind of supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's like a drama.
It's absolutely drama. It's fictionalized, and it's got I think the reason why it was so hated was because of the ending. It was such a safe, lame, watered down ending in that as soon as fucking Marky Mark quits Steel Dragon, he cuts his hair to shoulder length. He starts wearing sweaters. He meets up with his estranged guitar player from the tribute band, who has conveniently cut his hair. And they discuss how, I've got to suck in there, and they're in a fucking coffee shop with a cello player.
Just in time for the grunge movement.
And for Jennifer Aniston to see his name on a flyer in Seattle, because he somehow magically remembered that she was living in Seattle, even though he couldn't remember that she was going to see him in Seattle.
Right.
Not 6 months earlier. But yeah, she walks into the coffee shop. They have the big fucking romantic reunion. And I think that's what everyone hated about it. Is because,
it ended on too happy of a note.
Well, it ended on too predictable of a note. It went from being a rock and roll movie to being August Rush or fucking Love Actually or Fools Rush In or something like that.
Yeah.
Nobody who signed up for a rock movie signed up for that ending. Or to have him just become James Blunt or somebody.
It just sort of didn't make sense.
No, it made no sense because
it was almost like they had that ending written first.
Exactly. It's like,
how do we get to here?
Yeah, and I think you're right. Either that or the initial idea for the story came up, and probably thought of the ending first. Got to have this end it in a coffee shop. Jesus Christ. There's only one person that can pull a career 180 or even an off the fucking charts change like that, and that's Phil Anselmo with the N Minor project.
I'm pretty sure Darius Rucker would beg to differ.
That's not even that far off from what he was doing. Or Aaron Lewis was Staind, for that matter. They both became sad sack country singers because they were sad sack rock and or pop singers. That's not that far off from what they were doing anyway, especially Darius Rucker. Hootie and the Blowfish, he played acoustic guitar and they sang just these weak, awful, brain-dead ballads, really.
Well, you know what then? Chris Gaines says, fuck you.
Fucking Chris Gaines. Jesus Christ. For anybody that doesn't know that fun trivia fact, that was Garth Brooks' alter ego when he became, kind of a singer, soul singer?
I don't know.
A singer that was worse than Garth Brooks, if you can imagine that.
He was like the dark.
Oh, yeah.
Dark persona.
Because he had dark hair and a soul patch.
And mascara.
Right. But yeah, so fucking the singer for Steel Dragon ends up being a fucking singer in a coffee shop.
It's like people forgot he was in a famous metal band.
And didn't care. And happily ever after, I think.
Sure. think it was. I think that was supposed to be a happily ever after ending.
I don't know. That ending was so goddamn bad, though. It was just, it damn near ruins the whole movie if you can't find the hilarity in what you watched prior to that.
Right.
But then when you watch the end credits, they have the different bloopers or whatever.
Yeah, they run that little blooper reel.
Yep. And then, of course, the one thing everyone should have predicted, they totally punked Marky Mark when they were getting ready to shoot one of the concert sequences, and they put good vibrations on the fucking PA.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of people breakdancing and shit.
Right.
The look on his face was just...
So here's something, a fun fact about that. He has his shirt off a lot in this movie.
Oh, of course, because he's... If I were Marky Mark, I'd have my shirt off all the time.
Yeah, so they had to cover his tattoo. Because he had like that rosary tattoo when he was Marky Mark. They covered it with makeup. And I guess later in life, he had it removed.
Wow. Okay, that's crazy because in that soundtrack, there's a picture of him.
There's a picture of him and it has
with the fucking
with
rosary
the tattoo.
thing. And I sat there watching the movie the entire time, like,
when did he get a tattoo?
Did he get a tattoo after he joined the band? I mean, what the hell?
No, so that was his real tattoo, Marky Mark's real tattoo.
That's awesome.
So that must have been like an early promo photo or something, and they slipped through the cracks, didn't airbrush it out or whatever.
They should have left that. You know how metal that would have been? Metal singer with a rosary tattoo? That would have been totally metal. I bought it. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
But no, when they do that blooper reel, when they're getting ready to shoot the live sequence and Good Vibrations comes on, the initial look on Marky Mark's face is so priceless because it was right before he goes into the whole, yo, it's about bling bling now. You know, he plays along with it, but right before that, he just has this, all right, you got me. Look on his face. He just kind of flips his microphone a couple of times and rolls his eyes. Just like, fuck, I was waiting for it to happen, and it finally fucking happened. All right, guys, you got me. That was just like... I don't give a shit what anyone says about Mark Wahlberg. Fucking all hail him for being a fucking awesome sport about that. Well, and even if you watch, like, if you ever saw, like I have, the 100 Greatest Songs of the 90s, which is a very, very excruciatingly painful thing to watch because the 90s were so bad. But Good Vibrations was one of the songs that they had on there. And they had Marky Mark talking about it. And he knows what the fuck it was. I think he said something to the effect of, you know, they asked him, how do you feel about that now? He says, wait, you think I didn't have a good time acting like a total asshole running around my fucking underwear? Hell yeah, but would I do it right now? No. No, I would not do that again. You know, I just thought that's how you do that. It's like, okay, yeah, there was this. What do you want, an apology? Or do you want me to do it again? Because you're not going to get either one. That's what I like about Mark Wahlberg. One of my favorite actors, just because every part he does, I wind up liking the guy even when he's not likable.
I mean, so aside from Boogie Nights, it seemed like he blew up as an actor after this.
He very well, and he had been acting for so long as it was. Like, he was in Basketball Diaries. And I hated him in that movie because he played the total fucking prick
and then
teenager.
What movie was he? Like Cape Cod or something? Was he like the...
Never saw that. No, Boogie Nights was probably the first movie I saw after Basketball Diaries with him in it. But yeah, you're right. It became very mainstream because, yeah, after Rockstar...
Or maybe it was Cape Fear?
I have no idea.
Something like that. Cape Fear.
I'm not a movie guy. You would know this better than I would.
Why can't I remember? Fuck, I'm old. I swear to God, he was in some movie where he was like a killer or something. Or a creepy guy. I must be thinking of something else. No, the movie was called Fear.
Oh, Fear! Fucking Fear! Okay, I hated him in that movie too because he was so good at playing that part. He played a fucking horrific person in that movie.
Yeah.
And a very well-liked movie amongst everybody, seemingly everybody I knew in the 90s. Yeah, everyone, male, female, all had to have a copy of Fear, so I saw it. And yeah, he just plays this god-awful person in it who has a fucking tattoo I keep threatening my wife that I'm going to get, where he scrapes Nicole Forever into his fucking chest. Nicole number 4, Eva. EVE.
Oh, man.
Or EVA. Fuck it. No, in that movie, too, if we're going to get into some real fucking rabbit hole shit.
I think I would almost pay to have that done on you.
Yeah, you know what? Times are tight, man. You never know. But yeah, fucking no, that movie is, if we're going to dive down the rabbit hole, yeah, going to the Nicole Forever tattoo this guy gets. In the movie, he's this fucking bad boy or whatever the hell who somehow seduces this good girl, fucking takes her virginity and all this other shit. But he's like known as this ladies' man who gets all sorts of mad tail, and yet he becomes obsessed with this one person who happens to be Reese Witherspoon. Nicole, forever. But yeah, that part of that movie didn't even make sense to me. It's like, okay, so he banged somebody else. Why her is he obsessed with? To the point of Nicole forever.
I forgot he was in Planet of the Apes, the crappy one.
Oh, yeah. He's in that. I'm sorry, the Daddy's Home movies. Those are both fucking great. Yeah. Dusty Mayer on? Hell yeah.
I've only seen one of those, I think.
Oh, watch them both, man. They're fucking brilliant. Well, we're old and lame and we have kids now, so these are the movies that we watch. And they're actually really good.
The most recent movie I watched was this one. I went and bought a Blu-ray copy just so I could watch it to do this podcast.
What was the most recent movie I watched? God. We've been watching Freaks and Geeks lately.
That was a good show.
You know what? I am so ashamed that this is the first I've ever watched of it. In fact, I didn't even hear of it until 2006.
So I knew about it. I missed it when it was on TV, but when I worked at the video store is when it got a DVD release.
Right.
So I watched it then.
I had heard of this show in like 2006 and thought nothing of it because at that point, and even when it was released in 99, I wasn't watching TV at all.
Right.
But no, wife and I and kid were flipping around on the Roku one night or whatever, and she found Freaks and Geeks, said she used to watch it all the time. So I thought, no, fuck it, I'll check this out. She said, you'll probably like it. It's set in the
late
70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, play it, whatever. First of all, the soundtrack's great.
Oh, yeah.
But then looking at who was all in that fucking show.
Oh, yeah.
Linda Geraldini or whatever the fuck. She was the mom on Daddy's Home. Daddy's Home 2.
She was also Velma and Scooby-Doo, the live action.
I didn't know that. Yeah. But yeah, she's in there. Fucking Jason Segel, Seth Rogen, fucking James Franco. Yep. And oddly enough, I knew about James Franco, but I didn't know any of these other people. And I'm just going, Jesus, what kind of a launch pad was this? When does Paul Rudd make an appearance?
Yeah, it was like all the super bad actors.
Yeah, yes, the super bad 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
Class of people.
All those guys.
Right, and yeah, I did not realize that they were all interconnected with this Freaks and Geeks show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, have I been listening to anything new? I never listen to anything new.
Nope.
But have I been watching something I've never seen before? That.
Definitely watch something new. So I'll put it, when I'm not researching a band,
right,
I'll just let my, it's called My Soundtrack.
Yep.
On the Amazon Music app. I'll just let that play, and it's... Since I listen to a shitload of Pink Floyd, so for some reason it thinks that I just want to listen to a shitload of Pink Floyd.
That's funny.
So whatever, it'll do that, and then I'll just hit skip. But sometimes it'll go out on a limb and go, "Hey, this is like this. Maybe you'll like this." So I ran across two bands.
Oh yeah. Who?
So one is called Royal Thunder.
Okay, I've never even heard of them. So
this is a description of what it sounds like, and then I'll also tell you the Rolling Stone magazine description of what it sounds like. Yeah. Classic rock and 90s grunge with elements of progressive rock and psychedelic rock.
So Nickelback with talent?
No. So Rolling Stone said it was like if Led Zeppelin was fronted by Janis Joplin. Which, that's not too far of a stretch.
It's not really.
It's really good. It's actually really good stuff. The singer's great. I think she sounds really good.
Okay.
They've got some solid music.
All right.
But so I'm listening to this, and I'm like, well, this is kind of a good band. What's their story? So I looked them up out of curiosity. How long have they been a band? Whatever they're about. So, like, the guitar player and the singer chick dated each other.
Okay.
But they were also part of some Christian cult in Seattle.
What?
Yeah. They escaped a weird, freaky Christian cult.
Uh-huh. All right. And
one of their songs is about that. I'm sure a lot of their songs is about that.
I would imagine.
So.
Christian cults.
And then fucking... Did you know Jared Leto has a cult?
I'm not shocked by this even remotely, and my eyebrows aren't even going up as you tell me this, but no, I didn't know that. So I've now got to know the story.
That's pretty much the story. Jared Leto didn't know there was a pandemic because he was on some isolated retreat.
Wait, that Okay, I thought that was a joke.
That was a real thing.
I thought that was a joke, like that shirt that says Al Cisneros is my cult leader.
Yeah, so then he has a cult, and he knows it's a cult, and he calls it a cult. And there are people who follow his cult. So that's why he's got like the long hair, freaky Jesus look going on.
Why did they do this? Seriously, can't you cult leaders look like something besides that?
Skinny white Jesus?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Jesus was black.
What? Well, first of all, yes. No, Jared. No, the image that we've had of the Christ is not for starters. And second of all, why do you think I don't grow a beard, Chad? You have any idea how often I would hear that?
So when I worked in a factory,
oh Lord,
I worked with a lot of Filipinos, and they're pretty religious folk.
Yeah, yes.
And there was this one guy, he drew a picture of me in pen, ballpoint pen. I wish I would have kept it, but it looked like Jesus.
Why did he draw a picture of you?
I don't know. He was just messing around.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah,
so they called me Ginger Jesus.
Ginger. Oh Lord.
But I didn't let that go to my head, and I didn't form a cult.
I didn't let it go to my head, but you have to say that out loud. It's my favorite part because it makes me wonder, did you think about letting it go to your head?
Not at all.
Okay, but why wouldn't it just be assumed that it didn't go to your head? You have to clarify that. It's like watching the Pantera home video from 1990, and Phil's talking about Las Vegas at the Foundation's forum. I've never seen so many dudes that looks like chicks in my entire fucking life, but I wouldn't screw them. And I didn't. It's like, wait, you had to clarify that? Wouldn't it just be understood that the dude's looking like chicks you probably wouldn't screw, nor did you? I love Phil beyond a fan obsession, but that part I was like, why are you explaining this?
Sometimes you just have to be clear.
I don't think I've ever had to be clear about that. Ever in my life.
Okay.
I can even say I'd go gay for this person or that person. I don't have to clarify that, but I didn't. So
I
would, but I didn't.
So the other band,
right.
the other band that my soundtrack deal suggested to me is called Zeal and Andor.
The fuck is Zeal and Andor?
That's what I said when I started listening to the music.
Uh-huh.
So
I gotta know.
So this is probably the most coherent description of it. It is a band that features elements of both black metal
I'm already out.
and Negro spirituals.
Oh, Christ, we're this bored with music at this point.
I don't know. So I looked them up because I was curious, and it is their front man is he is half or whatever African American and Swedish.
Yes.
So they're based out of Sweden and or New York City.
Sweden and or
I think because the guy lived in Sweden for a while.
I think he's probably wanting to claim his motherland, even though he is not there.
Right.
That's like, well, quite frankly, it's like any white person who decides to cherry pick one end of their fucking lineage. Man, I'm Irish and I'm proud. It's like, oh, okay, what else are you? Well, but I'm Irish. It's like, God, have you ever been to Ireland? Stop it. I'm fucking probably half Irish, quarter German, quarter Norwegian. I don't fly these flags because I've never been to any of these places.
But it is very much that description. Black metal meets Negro spirituals.
Nothing wrong with national pride, by the way.
It's interesting stuff. Some of it is kind of weird and out there, but some of it's really good. I don't know. I've been listening to it more and more. I'm not going to tell you to listen to it, but...
I wouldn't anyway. I would say, yeah, I'll look into that, and you'd never hear from me
again. It's just... Sometimes you got to listen to something different.
And that's fine. I'm still playing in the whole anthropologist end of things, which is a nice way of saying I don't want to listen to anything new. And I always go backwards. I got back into Queen this week for a while. The first album, you ever listen to that?
What's that one? Just
Queen, self-titled.
I'm sure I have, but I can't remember.
Well, if anything, just look up the song Son and Daughter. Every band in the 70s had at least one song that should have been on a Sabbath album, and that's the one for Queen.
I will definitely look into that.
You'll fucking love it. Real bass, heavy fucking riff. It's amazing. And of course, it's Queen, so it's got the Queen vocals.
So like a lot of the time, well, not anymore because I don't work third shift anymore. But
Right.
I would just throw that like a record on,
All right.
and listen to it while I worked.
Yeah, you listen to Tales from Topographic Oceans. I had you listen to.
Yeah,
one night.
front to back.
And it's amazing. I don't care what you say.
Well, yeah, but it's also just it's boring.
It's boring as shit. It's fucking incredibly self-indulgent. It's ridiculous, but that's the amazing part about it. I still say when I die, I'm going to make sure that side 2 of that album is played in its entirety at the wake.
Nobody gets to move until this is over.
No, they're going to listen to Hide the Memory, and then they're going to listen to The Botanist, and then they're going to listen to Dope Smoker for an hour. That's just during the wake.
That sounds good.
I've got all my funeral music planned. You got to be prepared for these things. Played the Cowboys song, UFO High Flyer. Oh, yeah.
Man.
Oh, what? You don't think about these things? You got to.
Yeah. I do, but I can't fucking pick a song to listen to while I'm alive.
Oh, I can do that too, much to people's dismay. But you think about the music that you want people to remember or think about you when they hear whatever the hell. Well, nobody will, because nothing I'm going to have played at my funerals played on the radio. And that's where I'm doing everyone a favor. I don't want to create a painful memory.
I should ask around.
What?
I should poll people before I die. What song makes you think of me?
That's actually a fucking brilliant question. And now I don't know if I could pigeonhole it with you, though, because, I don't know, I would probably pick something from Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Just because you are inextricably linked with Black Sabbath to me. I don't know, what would you, for me?
Well, when you said cowboy song, that definitely nailed it.
Oh, Thin Lizzy, hell yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I used to sing that to my kid as a lullaby to get her to go to sleep. Yep. Cowboy's life is a life for me. But yeah, as far as your end of it, God, I don't know what Sabbath song I would pick, but I'd have to pick a Sabbath song.
Electric Funeral.
Yeah, I don't think Crystal would ever forgive me for that. or any of your family, for that matter. Because if it happened, I would be the first person everyone would look at. They know who did it. They know who was responsible.
Yeah, me.
You put it... Well, actually, you know what? It's on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's out there for everyone to see. Chad wants to hear fucking Electric Funeral. And what say am I going to have? Well, I'm croaking before you. There's no way that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Electric Funeral.
Right, I like it. So, any other thoughts on any of this, or are we wrapping this?
Let's wrap this up.
All right, so...
I don't know. For the most... Rockstar's a fun movie.
Yes, absolutely.
I like 90% of it. The ending, it just blows goats.
Right.
I don't like how he took a grunge turn.
Not even a grunge turn.
It's
a Hootie and the Blowfish turn.
I suppose you're right. Alt rock.
Alt rock, yes. Lame Matchbox 20, Hootie and the Blowfish. We're preparing you for lame adulthood before you even get there.
Right.
Not rock. That's not even rock.
How old do you think he is at this point?
At that point, mid-20s.
Mid-20s? God.
It was a short year he was in Steel Dragon. He wasn't in there long.
I remember one of those montage had the calendar flipping. It was at least 2 years.
Okay, so it's still late 20s then.
I'm trying to, because I think the coffee house thing is the 90s. I think we've at least broke into the 90s.
Okay, so early 30s then.
So, like I said, I think we broke into the 90s at the end of the movie, but that calendar montage stops at 87.
Yeah, they kind of. And then there's
that's got to be a stretch in there.
And speaking of the calendar montage, if this movie has one single unbelievable part in any of it, now we're talking about, I'm including everything. I could believe hearing him from the crowd sing. I could believe anything to do with it except for one part, one little hidden detail that only a dipshit like me is going to notice and point out. During that montage where they're playing the Talking Heads song Once in a Lifetime,
yeah,
there's one part where it freezes on a magazine article that says 25 Things to Love About Steel Dragon that came from Rolling Stone magazine. No fucking way. At any point in time would Rolling Stone magazine ever put up a list of 25 reasons to love any metal band, period, let alone a massive 80s metal band. That is the most unbelievable part of that movie, that they fictionalized a Rolling Stone article, 25 Reasons to Love Steel Dragon. Bullshit, that never would have happened in any fucking parallel universe. That'd be the equivalent of in 1985 them saying 25 Reasons to Love Judas Priest. It would never fucking happen. Rolling Stone will never do anything like that. And in fact, I'm fucking laying down the law right now. Laying down the law, Jesus.
lay it down.
Okay, I'm going to present an idea to you, Chad, with the Beard of Doom. Next podcast, we need to fucking discuss the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh man, I totally forgot this time.
Yeah, we can fucking tee it up right now by saying Jay-Z.
I actually have the list.
Yeah, and the list is fucking
I have
ridiculous.
a list of people that are the nominees this year.
How about the list of people that aren't again?
Yeah. So let's. I'm gonna run through real quick.
Yeah, let's.
Mary J. Blige, not rock. Kate Bush, not rock.
Nope.
Devo,
Yes.
not.
And this is where I'll make the case for rappers here. But go ahead.
Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
the Go-Go's,
Uh-huh.
Iron Maiden,
What? Yeah.
Jay-Z.
Huh?
Jay-Z's on this list.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's not that it's a rapper that bothers me. Rap damn well deserves to be in there. You know why? Rock is a fucking form of music based on blues. Black music.
Yeah.
So rap should be in there. But here's the thing. Here's the problem I have with Jay-Z. Is Snoop Dogg in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
We all know who the fuck he is. I couldn't tell you a single goddamn Jay-Z song.
It's a hard knock life.
That's Jay-Z?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I
They
didn't know that.
They took that Annie song.
Annie song. Yes, of course they did.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I didn't know that was Jay-Z. That's the whole thing that gets me is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is supposed to be...
That's like the biggest song he had in the 2000s.
But that's the whole thing is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is supposed to be for legendary artists. Okay, you know what? You may hate Madonna, but within the framework of rebellious pop music, yeah, she belongs in there. You know what? NWA, they fucking damn well belong in there. I hate rap. I don't listen to it, but they fucking belong in there.
Shaka Khan, Carole King, Fela Kuti.
See, Carole King is pure pop and a brilliant pop songwriter and singer at that, but rock?
LL Cool J.
Okay, I can give it up for LL Cool J. I know who he is. I've heard his songs. He belongs in. Like I said, I don't like rap, but I think it has an important place.
New York Dolls.
I would love for them to get in. I don't see it happening.
Rage Against the Machine.
Would love it. I don't see it happening.
Todd Rundgren.
Why?
Tina Turner.
He should damn well be in there.
Dionne Warwick.
In the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's this year's nominees.
Yeah, and this is I guess the one thing I'll address, and then we can wrap it up and discuss this in depth next time is, okay, so Iron Maiden, right? Where's Judas Priest? We know who the fuck Judas Priest is. Judas Priest was the band that invented the metal look. Everyone knows. They were the band that had the first really openly gay singer in heavy metal. Everyone knows the song Breaking the Goddamn Law. Okay, pull anybody off the street and ask them, name one Iron Maiden song. Nobody's going to get it. But they can identify Eddie. So yeah, should Iron Maiden be in there? Hell yeah. But Priest needs to be in first.
I wonder how this got so convoluted, the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You want to know how? Going back to 25 Reasons to Love Steel Dragon, that'll never happen in Rolling Stone magazine. Jan Wenner. He's the fuckhead in charge. And he's the one that is... Put it this way. The first time they had a fan vote, Rush got inducted. Rush. Because they had a fan vote. What does that tell you about people that listen to music? Kiss won the fan vote the next year. Because Paul Stanley said it best. Jan Wenner finally realized it's fucking stupid to not have us in there. Because everyone knows who the hell we are. Yeah, Jan Wenner. He's the reason. Seriously, he's the reason. Why the fuck is Devo getting in there, but you can't get Bad Company in there? Everyone has heard the song Feel Like Making Love. You know who the fuck Bad Company is. Can anyone name a Devo song besides Whip It? Which is more of a pop song anyway? No, you can't.
Well, the fucking main singer of Devo went on to do like
soundtrack work.
Soundtrack work.
I know, and I'm pretty sure he did the soundtrack of the 2015 Vacation.
Yeah, probably. He did a bunch of stuff like that. Like that's the most famous thing he's done is soundtrack work.
Right. But yeah, that's where the next podcast I want to cover the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because there's so much that needs to be said about it.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
But yeah, that's my feelings on it as far as this year's nominees, whatever. The great debate on does rap belong in there? You fucking right it does. Because blues is what made rock and roll. And it was primarily, and I think people have a racial problem with rap. You shouldn't. I don't like rap just because for the same reason I don't eat cheese or I don't drink fucking IPA beer. I just don't prefer the sound of it. I don't like it. It's not something I find appealing. But I recognize it as important. You know, fucking, it's a form of music that to me wasn't like safe in a lot of ways. That's a form of rock music, in my opinion. It was a rebellion. It sounded a lot different than the rock and roll I'm used to, but who said rock and roll has to have a guitar? It doesn't. Fucking Billy Joel is considered a rock singer. Fucking his music is almost all piano based.
Oh, come on, man. Little Richard.
Elton John. Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah, it doesn't have to have a guitar, so why do we... rap doesn't have guitars.
Well, to be fair, Little Richard had Jimi Hendrix as his guitar
he
player
did,
in his
and
big band. So.
Elton John had his guitar players, so did Billy Joel. But yeah, no, I think the whole does rap belong in there? You're fucking right, it does. And this is coming from someone who fucking hates rap music so much. But it belongs in there. Now, you start getting into a weird territory of which artists should be inducted and which ones shouldn't, or who should be in first. I don't think Snoop Doggy Dogg is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the fact that I could pull his name out of the air says that he should be. Because that's a rapper whose songs I've heard, I know who he is. Jay-Z, you had to tell me he sang the Hard Knock Life song, and I've only heard that on the Austin Powers movie. I don't know shit about this guy's music, I just know his name is Jay-Z. He's not Hall of Fame big yet. He's not legendary yet. Because dopes like me don't know who the fuck he is. But I know who Dr. Dre is.
Isn't he married to Beyonce?
Yes. Yes, I know that about him. But no, musically, no, I don't think he belongs in there just yet. But I think there are a lot of artists that damn well should be in there because you know what? They've made their mark. People know the music. They know the songs. How the fuck did it take Kiss so long? Everyone knows who the fuck Kiss is. You know, Motley Crue has never even been nominated. Oh, we all know who the fuck Motley Crue is. Fucking, you know, Poison, whether you like him or not. You know who Bret Michaels is. His face was on Snapple bottles for years. Fucking induct Poison. Everyone knows what Talk Dirty to Me is.
We should probably call up Eddie Trunk to get involved in this conversation.
Fuck him. Fuck him, all right? You ever watch that metal show and see how moody he gets when somebody argues with him? He's one of those guys that, yes, he's a name. We're talking about him. He's done a lot for metal. But my God, does he put himself to an importance of almost like he's a member of any band that he talks about. I think it's great the things he's done for the band UFO, but I think he's starting to believe a little bit more of his celebrity than he should. Why did I buy Eddie Trunk's Essential Hard Rock and Heavy Metal? Why did I own that at one time? It's kind of ridiculous. I could have read bios about all these bands, but no, it was all stories about Eddie Trunk's involvement in it. Dude, you're a DJ. You spin records. I love the records you spin. I think that's great. You're not as important as you think, so quit arguing with people when they have a different opinion than you. He did that on the metal show for years. It was irritating.
Yes, sir. I just noticed you're wearing a Whitesnake t-shirt.
Of course I am. We were talking about Steel Dragon, Rockstar. I had to go full 80s, man. We're drinking beer that I drank when Rockstar was released, and we're celebrating the bands that movie was celebrating. Whitesnake. Slide it in. Hell yes.
All right. So I think this is a good time to wrap this up. As always, follow us at all the social media stuff. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Buy our swag, please.
Buy a hooded sweatshirt. It's fucking cold in Iowa.
Yes, it is. And it's cold anywhere if you think about it. So yes, buy our stuff. Follow us. Share the posts if you'd be so kind. We just appreciate being able to do this whenever we can. And hopefully y'all appreciate it too. And if you have any ideas, definitely contact us. Let us know. All right, on that happy note, we are talking with Chadwick, Gimme Beard Pollution Von Tippitt.
Joshua 40 the Hard Way Johnson.
For one more.
Last time.
Hasta.